8 players in double digits as they rolled the Nuggets 147-123. Next up, the Pistons Thursday at 7. The Panthers scored 3 in the third to down the Washington Capitals 5-3. The Cats have won 9 of the past 12 and host the Canadiens tonight at 7. Canes basketball team opens ACC play tonight at 7 against Pitt at the Watsco Center. And the Falcons kept their playoff hopes alive, holding off a late surge from the Rams last night, winning 27-24. I am Dan Day, and it is time now for the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Hey, we say good morning to everybody out there that's up early with us, that has no life. Man, we love having you. We just absolutely love having you all day, Dan Day, with us in the house. Jamie didn't go great last night. I love his fighting spirit. And Dave Hyde from the Sentinel in here this morning. Dave, I got to tell you, before we get into everything, we got a bunch of stuff because this is officially the busiest week in the history of South Florida sports. Man, it's amazing. Last night, two games. By the way, Heat and Panthers both get wins. We'll get into all that. One of the best players, if not the best player in the NBA, goes down with what could be a severe knee injury.
That was bad. I was watching every game last night. That was bad to see. I hated to see that.
I do too, man. I mean, like I had guys who were going to the game yesterday go, man, I'm going to watch that big guy. Say these numbers that he puts up. You know, yesterday we were talking and Woody was carrying on. I go, Woody, he averages a triple-double. It's not like everybody, he goes, well, guys have triple. I go, he averages a triple-double. It's not like guys get them every a month, you get 1 or 2 a month. We're talking about a guy that averages like his friggin' career is a triple-double.
And you saw Denver collapse when he went out.
Oh
that was
God.
the end of it.
That thing went from tied at half to good night Loretta real quickly with 47 points in that third quarter. So Dave, first of all, it's great to have you in here, man.
Good to be here.
Before we
Happy holidays, New Year, all that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, let's get in some pretty important stuff. My man Jamie, who he's kind of my guy now.
I need to get caught up here.
So I'll tell you what, he's relentless on this swiping stuff. Relentless, and he's fantastic. Now, listen,
the swiper.
But he kind of caught up with an old flame. He was out the other night, and I
was in here last week. He was out old schooling it, going out to the bar.
He said he was. So anyway,
so that's how it happened, Dave. Was I ran into her when we were out, and you know. We were talking and it was good. And she was like, oh, we should start hanging again. I was like, yeah, it sounds great. And then, didn't hear anything. And then Sunday she texted me, hey, are you at the Dolphins game? I'm here. Would love to see you. And I was like, no, I'm not, but we should go to the Panthers game tomorrow. She said, oh, that sounds great. Let's do it. Blah, blah, blah. And we were texting all day Sunday. And then yesterday we talked about it on the show. I got tickets. And
we
then
guilted the sales department into getting here a couple of tickets
and a parking pass. Dave.
Wait, the sales department that told me they didn't have tickets last week?
That same one.
Oh, okay, okay, I got
But
you.
anyway.
But this is part of the show now, so this is like.
So anyway, this thing is, so he comes in, I go, hey, man, because he had tickets and had a parking pass, and they were good tickets.
I was going to spoil her. And yeah, she texted me and said, I'm really not feeling well. I'm really sick. Like, I would love to come, but I can't make it tonight.
I got to believe her on that one.
I kind of want to believe her, too. She also
too.
hit me with, what are you doing on New Year's? Would love to see you on New Year's. We should go to a game soon. So I don't know what to think, but I'm still holding out hope here.
So he asked me, he told me the story, and I go, I believe it because there are a lot of people sick right now. The little funk's going around here. So I was like, okay. I mean, that could have happened. By the way, who'd you take with you to the game? You had 2 tickets. Don't tell me you sat up there by yourself.
No, I just ended up going with a buddy.
Oh, good.
But wait a second. Didn't this happen? I was in here, was it last week? And he got.
Yeah, we got
a streak going.
It's like deja vu, Dave. I don't know what's going on.
But I got to tell you, Dave, I love his fighting heart. I mean, his fighting spirit is fantastic. This guy. He gets
right back up.
He gets knocked down. He doesn't go, why me in the corner? And it's me. And he doesn't look in the mirror. And
let me give you a little piece of historical advice. Abraham Lincoln lost 8 elections before he won. Okay.
Right. There you go.
Keep going, Jamie.
There you go. Michael Jordan
he wouldn't give up.
Game-winning shots.
I'm not giving up till I become famous. That a boy. I love that. Hey, well, wow. Dave, when I talked yesterday, I said, man, it's going to be hard to beat this week. From games last night, Panthers 5-3 win. You just heard that from all day Dan Day. And, of course, the Heat just got back into that run and gun offense of theirs and hit 22 threes in the game and blow out the Nuggets. Of course, their center goes out. But And then on top of that, we got all these college playoff games, starting with the University of Miami tomorrow and the Wednesday game before all the games on Thursday.
The marquee game, the kickoff.
How great is that?
It's perfect. Good thing the Dolphins game doesn't count because I'll just be because we got the Outdoor Classic.
Outdoor Classic Friday, Lone Depot Park. Rangers in town for that. Panthers back in action tonight. Literally like, oh, what are you going to do with the kids? Oh, we got games about every night.
Every game they play is dramatic now. Every single you talk.
I sure like their chances in the third period. I know they've had a couple that got away, but for the most part, they are unbelievable. Three goals in the third period last night. Ekblad gets it. Reinhardt gets empty net or lifts one from like downtown over the top.
There's a second. He had one earlier in the game too, and Lundell tipped one in. Great pass from Petrie. I mean, they
got a fighting spirit, man. They got a fighting championship spirit to them. They really do. And Kachuk's going to be back. What do you think? End of this week?
He practiced Sunday.
Yes.
And Maurice said, basically, he said, we want him back, but we want him back healthy, the best for the.
Yeah, no.
So the question is, he wants to, I'm sure he wants to play in the Outdoor Classic just because of the stage.
Problem is, he's old school. You can't trust him.
Right.
Like, he'll come back before he's 100%. He thinks he's his old man.
And when he comes back, he's not going to come back and, ease into the game.
Oh, no.
The way he plays.
Yeah. No, it's
he might be dropping the gloves on his first shift.
Yeah. Somebody might have to pay for this guy being out. So anyway, we got that. And as we said, school you're familiar with, Ohio State, coming off their national championship and doing a little trash talking. Little surprised by the trash talking, but everybody's doing it. The Canes used to talk all the trash to everybody. And now they're just going, okay, let's see. We're going to play in Dallas here. It's going to be here right around the corner. But it is great to see every time they have a game on, they're already promoting this Ohio State University of Miami game. It's fantastic. I think a lot of this game, by the way, Carson Beck was not asked to do much in that last game. The wind was blowing. I get the whole thing. This is a no excuse game, man. This is an indoor special, baby.
I tell you what, though, I think this is going to be a really low-scoring game. How many times as a Dolphin fan you had to go up against Matt Patricia's defense? And here goes Miami going up against Matt Patricia again at Ohio State, and he, that's a lockdown defense there. That's an NFL
4 or 5 first-round picks.
And they lost most of their defense last year to the NFL. Just reloaded, and here they come in, and right from game one where they messed up Arch Manning.
We just can't have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate explode and have a great game with their quarterback, who's got another year of eligibility after this, or he has to stay one more year. But they're just can't have those guys go for 300 yards between them and have something crazy that way, which I'm sure they already know. And what can Carson Beck do? Like, look, I could sit here and I get it. Their defense is loaded with mock draft first-round picks, but you still got to be able to, like, you can't just go, wow, they've got all these guys. You've got to go out with the guys you have, CJ, Malachi, and those guys need to play. Those guys are going to probably be NFL guys themselves and get it. I don't know who's going to run the ball better in this game.
Well, both defenses are very good against the run. I think Ohio State's 5th in the country or something.
They are.
Neither team gives up much against the run, and they both have very good pass rushes. It's almost like who can adopt the Dolphin offense of throwing the ball under 2.5 seconds quickly, right. And Ohio State has those 2 first-round draft picks as receiver, Jeremiah Smith, obviously from down here, but they have 7 5-star recruits at receiver.
I saw they got
just a receiver.
And by the way, I saw they got another one yesterday. And by the way, we just got another commitment from another 5-star, like the 11th player in the ESPN top 150. Hey, no, they got it rolling right now. They do.
There is a little strange magic going on at Ohio State. Strange inner, Brian Hartline, the former Dolphin, obviously. He's going to South Florida. Right? He is. And he's not calling plays now. He called them all year. And he was asked yesterday, I think it was yesterday, oh, you're going to be on the field or in the booth? He goes, well, I'd rather be on the sideline if I'm not calling plays, but I'm waiting to hear where I'm going to be sitting. So,
by the way, good move by their coach. He put a positive spin on. He goes, hey, Ryan, you're busy. You got a lot on your plate, like recruiting, transfer portal, and all these things. And so I'm going to take play calling away from you and game plan. But I want you to focus on those receivers that you've recruited,
get them here,
babysat. They're your guys, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you know what? Day called plays year for year,
Yeah.
so it isn't like all of a sudden.
But they put a positive spin when it came out. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a sticky one, man. That's one of the sticky problems that they have in college football right now. Is the guy's a big part of it. Now, obviously, Ryan Hartline said, I've had enough. I get a chance to be a Division I.
Sure. Why wouldn't you take
head
that?
coach? I want to run my own show. I've seen this, and I know Brian, and he's got a lot of pride and a lot of ego, and is
and a lot of personality. He was a good talker.
He is. He's a fun one. He is, no question. So can't wait for that game to take place. And as you said, we got the Classic on Friday as the Rangers come to town. We got a lot of Panther games. They're back in action tonight against Montreal. So, we've got plenty. And last night, you just never know, man. By the way, we had some great football games. Last night, Rams down 21-0, come back and tied up 24-24, lose on a 51-yard field goal with, 20-something seconds left. And so the Falcons beat the Rams, not that it mattered. And then I predicted this would happen yesterday. So the Chargers are going to Denver to play. And I know that offensive line for Chargers is really bad. And Justin Herbert's beat up.
Herbert's got a broken hand.
Yeah, he's hammered. So they can't move up.
Right.
So Harbaugh right after the game goes, I'm sitting him and I'm sitting all our key guys for this game against the Denver Broncos. Broncos win this game. They get home field throughout. So now New England and Jacksonville, who both had a chance, I don't know what they're going to do. Actually,
Vrabel's saying he's going to play anybody who's healthy. So
wow,
it surprised me a little, but he came out yesterday and said that
he doesn't want to lose the edge. That's the only thing.
Sure.
Is you start taking time off.
He's got a young team. I mean, defense has a lot of veterans, but it's a relatively young team as far as playoff experience and all that. And so why?
Yeah, So anyway, we've got that. We got a lot of fun stuff here going to thing. Then we have this the Miami Dolphins going to finish things up with New England up there. And I yesterday it hit me. So they got a nice win. They got a nice win against Tampa Bay. Played well. Although Omar didn't think the quarterback played any better, which I don't know how he watched the game and didn't think he played better in game 2 than he did in game 1, but Omar came on yesterday, and that was his take on it. And I'm not saying he's I like everybody's take on it. He hasn't done enough for us to say, for anybody to go, he should have a chance to be our starter. He's not there.
We're not there. I mean,
calm down. It's been 2 games.
He's earned a spot on the roster
next year.
It's certainly a backup, and they can say, hey, he's going to compete as a starter, but we're bringing in 1, maybe 2, if we have a good offseason, other quarterbacks that have a chance.
Yeah, so we got talking about it. It was a good win, but the problem is, you get back to all this exciting stuff going on and the wild cards and the playoffs, and we're trying to get to 8 and 9. And we're going to talk about how we played so much better at the end of the year.
No, we're not. No, we're not going to talk about that, are we?
It's just empty. It's empty because that's not the goal. The goal is to get in the playoffs. The goal is to win your division. The goal is to be a 1 seed. And I know they're going to be 2 1 seeds. I understand that. But we are so far, and it's so frustrating that I was like, after the game, you're walking out. And I was like, yeah, that was a good win. I said, and young guys played well. A lot of the young their draft class played great. And Hewers looked good, made some nice throws. Good game plans. Bradley Chubb's making money got a couple sacks. Hell, I think he made himself a couple $1 million.
900,000 for sure on those 2 sacks. Good for him.
But
for
sure.
To your point, look who's leapfrogged. Look who's good again. New England's good again. You're going into that. They're excited in New England. They got a new quarterback. They got a new coach. They got they've moved on from that great Belichick Brady. Jacksonville's good. I mean, and who saw that?
They were 4 wins last year.
Going-
Both those teams won 4 games last year.
Trevor Lawrence was just like he's one step away from being.
Even to start this year, I thought, oh my God, he might not be the guy, and he picked it up.
How did the Chargers win 11 games with that offense? That
Herbert.
Offense is awful. Herbert, that's the one answer, which is, to my point, look, another dagger in the Dolphin fans. Herbert's doing that. And then, other Houston's got the best defense in football.
I don't want to play them. I don't care who you are, and because Texans will be coming to your city soon, and you don't want to play them.
Denver's good again, and what does that make you think of? Oh, Dolphins beat them, but put up 70 on them.
That wasn't too long ago either.
I know. Look at all what's happened in 2 years in the NFL. Now, if you want to spin it positive, look what the Dolphins could do in the next 2 years with good football decisions. There's no reason you can't turn it around quick.
And I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. Again, this is a great week for sports, but problem is, by this quarterback whiff, who ended up being the weakness of this team, by the way, from start to finish, he was the overall weakness of this team.
It's never good. Your highest paid player is your biggest problem. And that's what happened. And
so what do we now going forward? Because the money continues to come in. And if you do dump them, which I think they will move on.
Yeah.
I don't think they can trade for them. I don't think there's anything there. You're in a mess. You're in a financial mess. You can't spend a lot of money.
Denver showed you the roadmap. There's the roadmap. They had the same problem. They hit on the rookie quarterback, and they hit on Sean Payton. I mean, there you go. They got the coach to
got some good drafts. Had some great drafts coming in.
Made some good decisions,
This Bonito kid from 3rd round pick out of St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the best pass rushers in the game. So yeah, they've done, but we have to. And the other thing, Dave, that we don't talk a lot about, we got to have some stars come out of these draft classes. They can't just be good players. Right now, the biggest disappointment of the last 2 drafts is Chop Robinson.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough. It's not good enough. He's got 4 sacks, got the concussion, probably won't play in this last game. If we go by usually, he got hurt in the game, usually don't play in the next one. But and we just need, we can't just have a draft full of, hey, he's a really good player, a solid player.
A good starter, nice starter.
We need some guys to go on to.
See, that's my question.
A-chance. We need more A-chance out of the deal. We need what Patrick Paul looks like he might be the next guy. Like, we need guys coming out. And I'm not saying necessarily 1 or 2s, but usually that's what we're talking about, your first couple of rounds. And we just haven't gotten enough. I'm just frustrated. I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel on this team. I can't.
Well, the rookies contributed in the win Sunday. It was a march to you. A lot of guys made plays.
Jason Marshall looked great. Yeah.
But to your point, there's no rookie you look at from this class and say he's going to be a star. Now, Kenneth Grant's come on in a way. He had 4 quarterback pressures on
gotten
Sundays.
Better.
He's gotten better.
Yeah.
So I'm look. You're not writing that name, but there's nobody like Zach Thomas or Jason Taylor who, after their rookie season, you said this guy can be really special.
Well, Dave, let's go to break here. We do have a lot of stuff to get to here this morning as we continue. Kyle Crabb's going to join us at 8:00. We'll talk to Kyle, all Dolphins stuff here coming up as well, and Ben Volen will join us, talk a little bit about the Patriots. Mike Florio will be on later in the show to talk to National Football League as we get set for the last week of the regular season. I want to talk about something else with you, Loctite. Oh, boy, I'm talking about Loctite impact windows, doors, and roofing. They do it all for you, man. And if you got no leaky roof, now hurricane season's over, you've been waiting and kind of stalling, waiting. Hey, man, you can replace your old roof now and you can pay later. Loctite Impact offers highest quality roofing materials with lifetime warranty plus thousands of 5-star reviews. Say big on their legendary state-of-the-art impact windows and doors. Impact windows as low as $6 per window per month installed. So don't wait for the next storm when you get this done now. Visit LoctiteImpact.com. Again, LoctiteImpact.com or call 954-500-LOCK. Loctite Impact, by the way, just inked a deal with the Miami Dolphins, becoming the official Dolphins Impact Windows and Doors partner. Hey, they do it all for you over there. Loctite Impact Windows, Doors, and Roofing, covering all of South Florida with a great staff ready to help you.
Today's topics are sponsored by Local Plumbers.
Dave, before coming in this morning, listening to the overnight national guy doing a show about this Lamar Jackson thing, and I'm with you. I saw what you wrote the other day in the Sun Sentinel about why, at 28 years old, would Baltimore not be doing everything possible to keep one of the best, most entertaining quarterbacks who's won a zillion regular season games. And why would you want to get rid of Lamar Jackson?
And a blue ribbon organization. It's not like this is an organization known for making dumb football moves. They're
that team, it's a little broken down right now because of injury. But that team, before the year started, like yesterday, everybody thought they might have the best roster in football.
Yeah. So it's fantasy to think that he would be available on the open market, trade market. How the Dolphins could even pull it off from a salary cap and all that is another matter, but it's not even going to get there. It's a fantasy.
I get what everybody's saying. Lamar, he is down here and lives down here in Broward County in the off season, and
like half
a
the
lot
league.
of time,
like
half the league, right? But he is from down here and obviously likes it. But I just like, why would he want to come here?
Yes.
When you've got everything set up nicely, they're going to pay you. They're going to continue to pay you, which they should, as one of the best in the business. And we've got people going with this story. I mean, running with Lamar coming to Miami. What do you think? Joe, we need to give up whatever it takes. I'm like, they're hard to find. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if I saw what you wrote. And the same thing, we did this with Joe Burrow for like a week. He made a comment like he was somewhat checking out and he had a bad game. I think it was against Baltimore.
It was Baltimore, 24-0 they lost. Yeah, before the Dolphin game, and I thought, oh, Joe Burrow's not interested. I'll pick the Dolphins in this one. And Joe Burrow came alive.
Lit him up like a Christmas tree with extra lights. Yeah, he got after it. So and again, why would Cincinnati get rid of a guy that is really good when he's hurt a lot, but he's
now the only question I have, and it happens in the NBA, a guy has enough power and leverage to force himself out of town, and nobody's really done that in the NFL.
That's an NBA thing.
Yeah. Would Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow have that leverage to do that? And I don't think so, but it'd be interesting to see somebody try in the NFL. And that's the only position.
So I still believe in the NFL. It's not about, these guys don't care about what city they play in. I don't think it matters. Josh Allen's in Buffalo. He loves it. He's a Buffalo guy, right? He's kind of turned into Jim Kelly #2. I think they want their money, and no question about it. But they want to win. They want to win. All Joe Burrow and Lamar want to do is they want to win. And they're all trying to get now, by the way, for the first time in a long time, Patrick Mahomes not going to be part of the show. So somebody new is going to be going to a Super Bowl.
Look, Micah Parsons didn't block a trade to or try to block the trade to Green Bay. Whereas if somebody like that, nobody in the NBA gets traded to Milwaukee, that big of a name. So to your point, that guys just they want money and they want to win.
But it's not like the NBA. Certain guys don't want to go to certain markets. In the NFL, you get drafted, you got a good team and got a chance. Hey, we talk about Justin Herbert's not going to play this week against the Denver Broncos and what it's going to do to everything by him. And by the way, he's not the only guy. All the key guys that he's going to sit this week because they're playing next week. They're a wild card team and they can't move up. They can't win the division. But Josh Allen is not playing this week. They've already said he was limping around in the game against Philly.
And I agreed with McDermott's decision to go for 2 in that game.
I did too.
Because they can't change their playoff position. They are locked in. So what you're going to play an overtime period and get somebody else hurt?
I'm shocked he missed that throw.
So am I. That was first of all, they missed the extra point, and then they missed Josh Allen. He makes that the time.
No matter what the weather is. That's
So
I'm with you. That surprised me a little bit on that little game, which they could have won, but it's not going to happen. Hey, I tell you what, man, the worst of first stories are fantastic. Patriots 4-13 last year. now 13-3.
Oh God, that just makes me nauseous when I hear the Patriots being back.
And you know, to me, one of the great stories, 49ers, remember last year they came down here, they were beat up. Nobody was playing, and the Dolphins beat them. They were 6-11 last year. They got a chance, if they win this game at home against Seattle, to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they got some key guys out.
Well, starting
Nick Bosa,
Fred Warner
out.
Ayuk, the receivers,
he's out.
And Brock Purdy was out for 7 games because Mac Jones went 5-2 as a starter.
Mac Jones came in and did one of the best backup jobs.
Has he resurrected himself like the way Darnold?
He's gonna make some money.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna pay him.
Maybe this team. Look, you keep Mike McDaniel. I'm just.
Can he run 3 yards and get a first down? By the way, the most refreshing thing about what Quinn Ewers did the other day, at the end of that game, he took off and ran for a first down.
It was the first down by a Dolphin quarterback running since Game 3 against Buffalo. When Tua got his only rushing first down of the season.
These third down and 3s and 4s, and he can't run for it when it looks like it's got plenty of space to get it without taking a big hit, and he's sliding, and it's just I'd had enough. Like, I couldn't take it anymore. That's it. Like, we're not asking to run 35 yards and Josh Allen people down the field. Just asking you to know where the first down marker, understand the difference in slides from head first to butt first. And
but as you know, that gets back to his health.
I know.
But
they told him
you just can't play.
Don't take any chances.
You can't be an NFL quarterback and have that as the limitation. You just can't.
No, I agree.
I mean, everybody. Well, his quarterback rating was great. It's great, but that's all he is. He's a quarterback rating. He doesn't do anything else. Anyways, the interesting thing about this past Sunday is how quickly everybody moved on from Tua. How quickly the team, the media, the fans, everybody has moved on. Like, oh yeah, that's yesterday. That's yesterday's news.
I think we all have different opinions on what happened to his game, but yeah, everybody's moved on. Like, nobody's upset about the poor guy's getting screwed.
Well, there are some people, because I got some on Twitter, but that's the remnants. The remnants of his army. You know, but
the army, like, wake up, take those glasses you have, those blinders off. Like, this is,
and you know what?
we have
I could be wrong, and I'm overstepping my bounds a little by saying I think Tua will be happier. You know, he's got the big money. He can go on with his life without worrying about his health every time he steps on the field.
I hope, as an older guy that has kids and has a son, I hope he takes his money, and I know where he lives. I don't want to say what area it is, but I hope he just goes and enjoys the rest of his life.
Right, me too.
If you want to do
and has his health,
want to buy a little company or get involved with something, go do it. But I don't want to see
football's not for him. It isn't. At this, no.
You got it. You found somebody to give you.
He won.
You got that second franchise quarterback contract. Just go enjoy your life. Enjoy the kid. What do you say? He likes to play video games with the kids.
He likes to play board games. Yeah, whatever.
Cards games with the wife.
Yeah,
just go enjoy yourself, man. Put a big ass gate up so nobody can bother you because he is private. And go enjoy yourself.
But he can't retire because then he loses that last was it $54 million for him. Yeah. But so he'll be around at least through training.
It still doesn't take away from how do we find one of these guys? And I don't have an answer. I don't know. I would not sit here today and tell you.
You do have an answer. Here's the answer.
What is it?
It takes talent to find talent. You got to have talent in the front office.
And you got a big setup.
You got to have somebody ready to make that move when that move can be made.
All right. We have not had that guy.
Exactly.
We have not had somebody that's willing to, like, hey, we're going to have to jump over this team, educated by what everybody else needs, and jump over people the way we've been jumped over. We got D'sed up. Buffalo D'sed right over us. Think they caught the top of the D's nuts.
And they kept promoting. They kept the guys around who kept passing the. Chris didn't make any stand for Lamar Jackson or
I don't know the Lamar deal. I've heard so many
Josh,
stories, and
well,
you'll say something, and the team will go, "Hey, I just want to let you know that's not what happened." Well, tell me what happened. Well, I can't.
well,
Okay.
that one's out in the open. Steve Ross said, "Why do we want to take Lamar Jackson?" And Chris said, "No, we want to make a okay." So you look, you picked a great player, and it really wasn't missing on
Not
that.
Lamar Jackson,
huh?
It wasn't Lamar Jackson. Whoever you picked was not Lamar Jackson.
Right. And Baltimore was smart. They used their first round, but they traded up from the second round to get him at the end of the first round when he was there. So they just need someone in there with talent to recognize. And the other thing I'll say, who the best GM in Dolphin history, it was the first one, Joe Thomas. Pick Rick Norton. This is going history lesson. Pick Rick Norton with the expansion draft. Didn't work out. Second year, fourth pick, he took Bob Greasy, and he was asked, "Are you kidding?" by reporters, "You just took a quarterback number one." And he goes, "Yeah, and I'm going to keep taking one until I get one." And that has to be the philosophy.
And that was that was philosophy back when this whole thing started in this organization.
Yes. That has to be the philosophy here. We're going to keep taking one till we get one.
How do we go through 25 years of not having one? How do we go that long without finding one?
Part of it is they keep taking them like every 8 years and just riding that and hoping, like Tannehill, then Tua, and when they weren't sure they were the right guy.
Yeah. All right, Dave, listen, we're going to go to break here. I'm just trying to get you out of the funk here, but I have no answers to any of this stuff. I really don't. But I know picking if they go 8-9 or 7-10, you were right there in a bad place, just out of the playoffs by a couple of slots, and not a top 10 pick. So, damn it! All right, hey, I want to tell you about your South Florida Chevy dealers. Now through January 2nd, just a couple of days, hurry into your Chevy store and take advantage of Chevy Red Tag offers. They're fantastic. It's a great time to take a look at Chevrolet, whether you're in the market for a truck or an SUV. Check out the Red Tag offers on dependable SUVs and hardworking trucks. That includes the dependable Silverado 1500, the road trip ready Equinox, the Equinox EV, or the eye-catching Colorado. Don't delay, man. Chevy Red Tag offers in January 2nd. Hurry, as these Red Tag offers won't last forever. Stop by your local Chevy dealer today and see why many drivers are choosing Chevrolet. Explore the Red Tag offers. It's a great way to end the year, start the new year in a brand new Chevrolet. Go down, take a test drive. You'll love it. Red Tag's savings in January 2nd. See your local South Florida Chevy dealers today. almost here, and we got a lot of sports. A lot of sports teams playing and a real busy week. Great stuff going on here between the Winter Classic Friday. The Rangers are in town to take on the Panthers at Lone Depot Park, which is really cool. You going out to that, Dave?
I am, yeah. I'm in fact, I was looking at the design of the stadium the other day, and it's
not a lot of great seats.
No, that was the first thing I thought of, because
I look too. Yeah, not a lot of great seats.
And of course, the curiosity is
that's it.
Yeah,
they've done a good job of hyping this thing up, and they're playing a lot of these on baseball fields and different venues, but it's exciting. And then on top of that, we got the Orange Bowl's got a quarterfinals game as well as the championship game down here. I think they got a great game, by the way, for our Orange Bowl friends. How many of those guys have those jackets? How big's that Orange Bowl? I'm surprised you don't run around with one of those on.
I'm not a joiner, and I'm first of all, nobody's invited me. Let's be clear on that. But you, Joe, wait a second. Now you would be much more fit, a better fit for an orange jacket.
No, again, nobody's asked me to be on the Orange Bowl committee, but yeah, I have done a whole bunch of events through the years. Texas Tech, Oregon. That should be a hell of a game. Texas Tech got a really good team. I think Oregon should win the game, but that's a 12 o'clock start on Thursday. That's a hell of a game. Of course, Miami and Ohio State kick everything off on Wednesday, which is going to be fun. They have nothing to lose in this game.
I agree completely.
Nothing to lose.
I was talking to a Kane fan, and I said, look, you're playing with house money here.
You got the win.
You've already made the big step you needed to this year. And from here on, it's just, can we have a magical year?
You beat a really good SEC team in Texas A&M. Now, people are trying to say like they're not. As I told somebody the other day, I said, well, you think it was a low-scoring game that they're not really good? Like, you're crazy. They lost one game. They went to Notre Dame and won. Like, Texas A&M was a good team. So they got nothing to lose in this game. And it's, to me, it's the biggest audition for all these guys who want to get to the NFL, and starting with Carson Beck. How he throws it, against this really good Ohio State defense. If you've been watching these mock drafts, you'll see Ohio State guys throughout that thing, which we might be saying that for a long, long time.
Yeah, they just keep reloading. Because as I said earlier when we got here, that Ohio State lost most of their defense. Get a new defensive coordinator, an old friend, Matt Patricia, who he's just part of the Bill Belichick
first of
mafia.
All, it pays. Those jobs pay just like being a defensive coordinator in the NFL now. I don't think there's a big difference in money.
Well, Ryan Day's making $13 million this year. $13 million to be the Ohio State coach. Now, that comes with certain caveats, too, in that last year, not this year, previous season when he lost to Michigan, he needed police guard around his house to keep himself. And this tells you, look, I'm from Columbus. I grew up in Columbus. I became a Boy Scout because you could usher at Ohio State games. They were the ushers, Boy Scouts, so you got in free. So that's how I watched Ohio State games. I'm not an Ohio State fan anymore, but my point is it's a different climate there. The kicker who'll be in the game this tomorrow night. When he missed kicks against Michigan last year, he needed a police detail walking him to classes. Can you believe that?
No.
I've never heard of such stuff. And that's sort of the mindset. It's a big, small city, Columbus is.
You think it's kind of weird? And I get college football is big business, big business, right under the NFL, right under. Matter of fact, everybody's getting paid now, so we can call it professional football. But it's weird that we've got all these coaches, especially now with all these jobs popping open. Got a guy in Indiana making 11 or 12 million. Like some of these guys are making a lot more than the NFL coaches.
Yeah, and
that's kind of weird.
It is weird, and it also when like Nick Saban's get up there and say there's not money for NIL and it's terrible.
I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear that.
One of the things I did not like out of his mouth.
Yeah, and he's I think he's great on TV.
I do.
But I just don't like that message coming from the old school coach, which he embodies of, well, this is how it used to be, and we couldn't pay everybody. You can, and it's proving out that you can pay everybody. It's just a messy situation that needs to be organized a little.
Yeah. They're finding out they had a lot more money than everybody thought,
Yeah.
right? With everything going on. Well, I got to tell you, University of Miami learned how to play the game real fast. And that was part of Mario coming here, was like, are we gonna play with the big boys? And they go, yes. And that means money not only for players, but money for a coaching staff. Yes. All right, let's do it. Facilities better? Yes. And Miami, president over there, Joe, has just done an unbelievable job. I tell you, that guy behind the scenes, I don't know if you've had a chance to spend any time with him. He's a gift from God when it comes to sports, having a president that loves and understands the importance of sports, because there's three parts of that university. The academics, obviously, are very important. UHealth, the whole hospital,
of which he was CEO of. I mean, that's his baby.
number one.
Yeah,
That's it. I mean, that's a big part of our community, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then sports for image and keeping your name out there, and it's been great. It's just been
and it is a complete turnaround. I remember Randy Shannon talking to him. He pulled a piece of paper out of his pocket showing he was the second lowest paid coach in the ACC. And now they're spending with all the big boys in college sports. And that's what's turned it around.
I always wonder, in the old days when we had all the great coaches coming through here, would they have all stayed? And those guys stayed and made this a full-time job for life if they would have paid and able to keep paying with the success. Would Jimmy Johnson have stayed at that job?
Well, Jimmy, remember, he went to Dallas, so that was a whole different challenge. But to your point, I remember talking to Sam Jankovic, the old AD, who hired Jimmy, hired Dennis Erickson, and a few others. His mindset was, you know what, we don't have the money to keep these guys. So how I sell it is, you can come here and we've shown you can win. You can win big here, and you'll make your money at your next stop.
Well, that's what they did.
Yep.
That's what they did, and then it ran out. We had all kinds of problems. We don't need to go through the history lesson, but it sure is nice to say we got to win in the playoffs, and trying to get another one as a heavy underdog tomorrow. Can't believe it. It's already here. We're going to break. Got 7 o'clock hour coming up. Dave Hyde from the Sun Sentinel in with us all day, Dan Day. Jamie in the house, man, coming off a real good night for him. A real good night. He saw a win. He was just with somebody different than he thought he was going to be with at the game.
It wasn't a win-win for him. It was just a win, right?
Well, he enjoyed the game.
Yeah, that's the win.
But there was no it wasn't a win-win, though. That's right. That's a good point. Hey, I want to talk to you right now about Beverly's Jewelers. Jeff, Amanda, and the whole family over there. We got something that's smoking hot, man. I have been blown away over the last couple weeks on the amount of people that I have met. I've never seen anything like this, that wanted to get engaged, found out about this stunning 3-carat certified lab-grown diamond, VVS Clarity, E-Color, setting a custom-made 14-karat gold engagement ring for just $3,999. Never thought it. You probably never thought you'd find an engagement ring for $4,000. That's right. 3-carat diamond ring, only $3,999. Choose from your favorite shape, and larger sizes are available at similar savings, but hurry. This offer is for a limited time, and while you're there, need to do some shopping, they got it all for you. Diamond studs, tennis bracelets, fine jewelry. They got something there for a special occasion coming up for you. Need extra holiday cash? Beverly's pays top dollar for your old gold, silver, and jewelry with immediate payment. Plus, enjoy interest-free financing, free gift wrapping, and a great staff to make sure you get exactly what you need. Visit Beverly's Jewelers in Fort Lauderdale off of Commercial Boulevard, or online at bevjewelers.com. Beverly's Jewelers, where South Florida gets engaged.
WQAM.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Heat took care of the Nuggets 147-123 last night. Next up, the Pistons Thursday at 7. The Panthers scored 3 in the third to down the Washington Capitals 5-3. They're going to face the Canadiens tonight at 7. 3 bowl games today. At 2, it's the Independence Bowl between Louisiana Tech and Coastal Carolina. 5:30, Music City Bowl featuring Tennessee and Illinois. Then at 9, the Alamo Bowl with USC and TCU. Of course, tomorrow Miami faces Ohio State at 7:30 in the Cotton Bowl. Falcons, they held off a late surge from the Rams last night, winning 27-24. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
This hour of the Joe Rose Show is brought to you by Baptist Health.
All right, welcome back here for the 7 o'clock hour. Dave Hyde in with us from the Sun Sentinel. Woody's got some time off. I shouldn't say that. I think he's got lots of basketball games coming up here with the Miami Hurricanes. Speaking of Hurricanes, we got a big one tomorrow. First of the playoff games, the 4 playoff games, will be Miami and Ohio State and Dallas. I think it's going to be a good game,
I think it's going to be a great game. I do too.
I don't see them getting blown out.
No,
they're going to get blown out. The spread.
No, they're too good. They have 2, and they're playing in middle of the year when they lost to SMU. I thought, oh man, they're just not going to come together because they got such good parts, and we saw it against Notre Dame how good they can be. But they've come together over the last month of the season, and then that Texas A&M. So I think it's going to be a great game.
They got a lot of really good college football players, if not the next step. But there's going to be some guys, probably a few. There are going to be a couple first-round picks this year on the team, and probably some other guys get drafted in there as well. But they just don't have a lot of weaknesses. They don't have that team. He really filled in the missing pieces with that transfer portal pretty well, especially in the defensive secondary. The nickel, those guys on the outside of
that are going to be huge in this game with Ohio State's passing. Because Ohio State, I was talking to some people from Columbus this week. They say the offensive line's pretty good, but not great. The quarterback's nice quarterback. It sounds like Tua. He's small, very accurate, gets the ball out quick.
Yeah, I saw you 6'1". College 6'1", that could be 6 feet in the NFL.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And he doesn't run, but he gets the ball out real quick. Is very accurate, but they have great receivers
always.
And there's comes the question of how's Corey Heatherton going to match up?
Don't worry about him. He will. If we're talking about it, he'll get after
that. It's almost like which defensive coordinator is going to be smarter this game. Come up with the better chess pieces this game, and because they've come up with them all year, which you could turn and say, okay, which offensive coordinator is. But
I think a lot of this is just individuals playing great. Last week, I thought one of the big stories for the Miami Hurricanes in the game against Texas A&M, all their star players played like stars. Malachi Toney has a great return, almost should have scored. He tripped up on himself actually, and then he has a winning touchdown. And then you go around and all the guys, the 2 defensive ends that everybody, you always start with Bain and Mesidor. They had great games.
Mesidor, I think, had 11 pressures and Bain 7. So there you go.
I just find it so crazy that people still talk trash about those 2 guys. And I know Ruben Bain didn't have 14 or 15 sacks, but had a ton of pressures this year.
Let's see where he goes in the NFL draft, and that'll tell you how good he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to go top 5.
You do think? I don't know if it's top 5, but he's going to be
top
a
10. I don't know.
Yeah.
All the mocks have him going top 5 right now.
But he's a strong kid. He's good against the run. All those things that you need.
Great student. He wants to be great.
Oh.
You talk to the coaches.
I was with Jason Taylor at a charity event on a Saturday night, and he goes, "Come here." Has me coming over, and it's Ruben Bain. This is in the off season. He's at UM. He's got his workout stuff on, and he said, "Coach, I want you to take a look. This is what I'm working for." And he was working on pass rush moves that Jason had been working with him, and he's doing. Take a look and tell me what you think. And so I was watching it with him. he goes, he's like this. He's a they call it gym rat. Whoever started that gym rat thing. Was that Bill Parcells said, we're looking for gym rats? He's one of those guys. That's his thing. He likes to.
It's funny. I have a very similar story. Jason had a media day. This was not this year, the previous year. They brought him out to the PR people, and I'm talking to Jason, and I asked him, hey, is Ruben Bain what everybody says he is? Is he that good? And he goes, yeah, and he wants to be good. And he goes, look, and his phone was just ring. I got a text from Ruben Bain saying, hey, where are you? We got to watch some film.
Yeah.
So that he's genuine. He's genuinely wants to be good.
And he's got great parents. When Ruben Bain does that background check, it's going to be in real good shape. He got great parents who are there. Anything you need to know, they're right there.
How about his uncle, Tolbert Bain?
That's right.
One of the great.
He is. I haven't seen him around there for a while, but yes.
I haven't talked to him in years, but one of the great personalities great players and great personalities for football.
So the whole thing of for him, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm really curious to see, and they're playing against a super talented team, this Ohio State team, that pretty strong just everywhere. I'm guessing they don't have a lot of weaknesses. They did lose to Indiana in a low-scoring game. I mean, they did lose.
1 of 3 in the red zone, and so that'll be interesting. They get it'll come to be a game of turnovers, red zone stops, all the things that great games are decided. And I'm hoping it's a great game.
Yeah, but you got to take care of the ball. I always goes back to that. Got to take
Miami's
care of the ball.
plus 11 in margins this year. Ohio State's only plus 5. So I mean, neither of them. It's not a problem for either of them. But one turnover can swing at this game.
And the old Orange Bowl's got a game here Thursday, 12 o'clock start too. It's an early one, man. Texas Tech and Orange Bowl kick off the 3 games with Bama, followed by Bama, Indiana, and Ole Miss and Georgia will play. I kind of rooting for Ole Miss now that Lane Kiffin's gone.
I was rooting for him when he was there. Now do I root for him more that he's gone? They're kind of the everybody's underdog.
He got caught in some sleazy stuff, man. Like don't say, hey, the guys really want me back, and they'll all go, no, we didn't. Once you checked out, we didn't want you around here. Once you said you were going to another school and you left us, and I thought that when it happened, I was like, yeah, the coach, the players really want me to stay around, and the ADs, that's not the case. We've talked to the team, and they don't want you around. They want some of the assistants around.
You can't go to LSU and still be the Mississippi coach,
no.
Right? I mean, like Florida's coach from Tulane to Florida. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, let him coach, let him finish his stay. But
I am curious to see when this is said and done. And Ole Miss is out of the playoffs or as far as they go. How many players from Ole Miss transfer?
Yes,
to
me
LSU?
Too. Right.
I'm curious to see how many of these guys are going to follow. I think some of the smaller programs, the really good players, they're going to follow their coaches to bigger D1 because we've got some coaches that were successful at smaller programs. They're going to be at bigger programs now. I'm curious. They're going to be able to get most of their guys money and
look what happened to the Indiana coach when he left James Madison. A lot of James Madison guys went to Indiana.
And that leads me to the other guy, and that's this Mendoza story. And again, I really like him. I know some guys in my life really like him and hoping that somehow the Dolphins can.
No chance.
No chance.
No chance.
No.
I mean, if he's
they'd have to do some jumping.
Right now they're 12. If they'd lost, they'd be 8th right now. And this gets into the case of the pain of winning at this point of the year in some ways. But
he's got a lot of things the NFL is going to like.
Yeah.
He's a character guy. And don't worry about his work ethic. He's smart. You have to worry about him in strip clubs and all those things that somebody brought up to me. His foundation is strong. Is strong with the team.
Now, is he an NFL quarterback with all the? I don't know. I'm waiting to go through he goes through the combine, and then we get the real truth of what's
that's true.
What's everybody? But
and I don't know.
I hope he is because You listen to him, and he sounds so good. And his story is so good.
I will tell you, some of the throws he made late in those ball games are unbelievable. Back shoulder throws, deep throws, the throw he makes in the back of the end zone against Penn State. Those throws are unbelievable.
You can't play. You can't have a better year than he did.
No,
can
that
you?
was
I mean,
tremendous, just unbelievable. I totally agree.
And at Indiana, again, I grew up in the Big Ten with Ohio State. No, Indiana was never good.
No,
they were never basketball.
Get ready for Bobby Knight,
right,
and his basketball team. Yeah, so that whole thing will be interesting, and those quarterbacks. And by the way, the first quarterback, I think a lot of people is going to be playing in the Orange Bowl. Or if you're going, I'd love to see him in person myself. See how good.
The question, I guess, with him is he going to come out? And everybody, you would assume
come out if you're going to be the first quarterback and one of the top couple of picks in the draft. Why?
I don't disagree with you, but let's say he makes $5 million staying in college, and there's a feeling that he can develop his game more. Remember,
he can get hurt too.
He can get hurt. Remember though, like Manning didn't come out.
Those old days, so the Manning old school thing.
I agree with you, but my point is, I'm hearing it being asked, is he going to come out? And I'm because my initial thought was, of course he's going to come out, but if
he's ranked in the NFL and his agent, whoever his agent is, or his marketing guy right now, who will be his agent, because the marketing guys in college are the agents, and he's going to go, listen, they got you ranked number 1, or maybe number 2 if somebody likes Mendoza, but you guys are clearly the top 2 guys. How do you not come out knowing that your signing bonus is going to be north of $30 million up front? Nobody's making 30 in college. You got to take that.
I'm completely with you, but if I was
life-changing money, not to mention your base salary for.
If I was going to argue otherwise, okay, you're going to make $5 million here. You don't really want to go play for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? Like, this is the system is always. Drake May got lucky. I mean, there's been a lot of guys. I can name the guys through the years that got in bad organizations, and they stayed bad their whole careers.
How did New England get lucky? How did they get lucky like that? This is the worst part of it all.
Last year,
yes,
that Patriot team was so bad that played the Dolphins here last year. So bad. It was the worst, least talented team I'd ever seen. They had a bunch of offensive linemen that shouldn't even been playing or were backups, and they had a bunch of guys hurt. And Drake May still made those guys. I went, wow, this Drake May kid, I like what I've seen. And I go, well, but you haven't. I go, he's got nobody to play with, and he's doing a pretty good job. Comes out this year.
We're having Ben Volen on, right?
Yeah, we got Ben coming up.
Ben a great writer, but what fortune to have this drop in your career again. Okay, Tom Brady, you had that in Belichick, and now, we had a few down years. All New England just. Remember Kraft? We don't want to go through another year without a playoff win. And I was like, it's been 2 years.
I know.
I mean,
they got Vrabel to coach.
Yep.
A great move. That thing in Tennessee's a mess. Not Vrabel. It's a mess. It's still a mess.
Proven.
They got the quarterback before he got there. They hit on that quarterback 2 years ago. They weren't sure, by the way. They thought they had him, but they hadn't seen enough because he didn't have enough around him.
But he wasn't a slam dunk when he was taken. There were even Bill. I remember Bill Belichick. Well, he's going to have to work on his footwork a lot, and there's a lot of mechanics wrong. And this was when he he's obviously out of New England at the time.
I think he's got a little something to him. He's got a little of that something mentally to him that you need. They had a big free agent money. I think they had the most free agent money in the league, and they hit on the draft picks. And that thing got flipped around. He got some early wins. They got some confidence, including that win against the Dolphins.
Let me just say, football decisions were made. Good football decisions were made on how to build a team, and they got lucky with the quarterback. You need a little luck in getting the quarterback.
And they got a 4-win schedule, which
that is
schedule is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with getting that one. All right, hey Dave, we got to go to break here. We do have a lot of stuff coming up, and Kyle Krabs will join us at 8. Ben Volen will join us in the 8 o'clock hour as well. We'll talk to him about those New England Patriots. My gosh, 4 wins a year ago, and here they are teasing everybody with having the best record in football, actually, in the AFC too. Hey, right now I want to talk to you about Mike Ocacci at Choice Mortgage. He's got an amazing offer. It's called Hometown Heroes Program. It's helping first responders such as law enforcement, healthcare professionals, educators, firefighters, and military vets with up to $35,000 in closing costs and down payment assistance with low fixed rates and no prepaid penalties. You need to give Michael Kotze a call or text him on his cell phone, 561-441-2730. Get more information. Yeah, learn more about the Hometown Heroes program. Hey, Michael Kotze's about getting you a mortgage quickly, getting you the best rates, and getting you all done, getting you qualified debt consolidation or anything else where you need some help. Michael Kotze can make it happen for you. Again, the guy works 7 days a week. He's got 30 years of experience. Michael Kotze at Choice Mortgage. Call or text him, 561-441-2730. That's 561-441-2730. MLS 166254. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. He's an equal housing lender.
WQA
Welcome back, and Dave Hyde's with us. We got all day Dan Day in the back. I can always count on my man. Gets here, ready to go, and of course, on top of that, I got the love maker, the heartbreaker in the back there with me today as well. So we're
Dan's just happy he's sitting there. I'm not the target anymore.
No.
We got an easy target.
But I got to tell you, all day's pretty good at it. Jamie, listen, Jamie can hold his own. Jamie's okay. He got a golf win with his buds. Went to the game last night. Life is good.
Listen, we called a quick audible. She bailed on me, and we made it work. So it's all good.
That's beautiful.
Got on the course with my boys, and then went to the game. Had a good time. Made it a good night. Made lemons here.
See that? He's got a great
attitude. Chicken salad.
Great attitude. We got to start taking you out for people a little down on their confidence, going, you need to be like this kid.
You just move on.
Tell him that's right. He just bounces back.
If you get swiped left, just move on. It doesn't matter.
This is the game. This is how it goes. Like you get ghosted, you ghost, like things go good, things go bad. Like I'm here for all of it.
I'm just getting the feeling that he's never had skin in the game, though. He's never really fallen for somebody and had his heart hurt, stomped on.
I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation for another time.
We found where he won't go. Okay, we found the limits here.
That has to do with therapy. Let's stay out of that one. Yeah. We'll leave that one alone there.
Get 30 years of therapy like us, and then you'll be fine.
I'm going to leave that one alone. There's no reason to get into that. I've got classic stories. Classic. Hey, anyway, we've been talking about the Panthers and got a busy week, got a nice win last night, 5-3 win for them, 3 goals in the third period. Sam Reinhart has really picked it up here recently, a couple of goals last night. Love that goal he lifted it up, put it right. I mean, he split it at the other end, empty netter to make it 5-3 after Aaron Ekblad had scored. Marchand has another goal. He's having he's
7th in the league in I looked it up while I was watching the game. It was like he's 7th in the league in scoring at age 30. Is he 37? Did he turn 38? I don't know where we're at.
He is.
His quote still rings when he was asked, "What would your younger self think of you now?" And he goes, "Man, what a good-looking guy." They're a great personality team.
They are. They got some characters, and hopefully one of those characters, Matthew Tkachuk's going to be back here over the next few games, as they're going to have the Winter Classic coming up Friday against the Rangers. Tonight they've got Montreal. The Heat, by the way, got a nice win last night. It was a weird one. It's a 63-63 or something at half. And then
it was 41-21 after the first quarter, the Heat. And I thought, whoa, they're back. And then I switched to another, the Panthers came back. It was 61-61.
So anyway, on that game last night, of course, Niko Jokic hurt his knee. I guess, find out more probably today about that. But he's just been so durable and so good. Another MVP-looking year, what he's able to do, but he got hurt. And
he played. In the NBA, you go to a Heat game, you want to see the opposing star.
And he plays.
And he plays.
He didn't pull a Golden State.
Right.
No, he did not do the Golden State special. So anyway, they scored 47 points in the third, 84 in the second half last night, and look great. Shoot 54% from the field, hit 22 3-point shots. You know how you blow people out? The other team has 11 3-point shots, and you make 22. You can do the math on that, Dave. That's 33 points difference, and that's kind of what they did last night. Just really, really chewed that up last night. They got 5 players, 19-plus points in the game last night. So good win, real good win for the Heat. Now 18-15, and they've won 3 in a row after a rough stretch there. Got it rolling in the right direction. We got Ohio State, University of Miami tomorrow, and then Thursday, man, just sit back because you got playoff football games all day. And then Saturday, by the way, Friday, you got the Winter Classic. Then you go 2 playoff-like games Saturday night with Carolina playing Tampa Bay, and then 49ers and Seattle.
The last 2 play-ins for the playoffs.
How about that?
It's like
they're playing. The winner of that game between Seattle and San Francisco not only wins the division, but they get home field throughout the playoffs. That's a huge game.
San Francisco is the
that might be
bizarre
the
story.
story.
I still think the Rams are the best team, but it's a defeating argument when they lose to Atlanta and now have. I think they're the 6th or 7th seed in the NFC.
But to your point, though, it's a tough out. Getting them out is going to be a tough out.
Yeah.
They have a nice team, got a great passing game.
But how is San Francisco even in the mix for the number 1 playoffs? Brendan Shanahan, Coach of the Year, it has to be a slam dunk.
Oh, I always.
Then Mike Vrabel. Then you're going to come back and Mike Vrabel, and I can't
Jags,
argue.
Bears.
Yeah,
those 4 stories: 49ers, Patriots, Jacksonville, and Chicago. All great stories. Those guys, 4 wins to 6 wins, and all. The Bears were 5-12, lovable losers, dead last in that division last year. They had all the great teams. They win that division this year. They got a new coach. What's funny about that too? A lot of new coaches came in. Think about that. Patriots, new coach in Vrabel. Jacksonville got a new coach, and the Bears got a new coach, taking the coordinator from the Lions.
I've come to the thought that
coaching matters.
Through the Dolphins' years, the first year is the easiest year for a head coach because everything's new, the team's excited. Look at all the Dolphins coaches: Wannstedt, Saban. We'll throw out Cam Cameron.
He was one and done.
Tony Sparano, Joe Philbin, Adam Gates. The first year was always their best year. Always their best year. And so the thing is, can you build on that? I remember talking to Boomer Esiason, and I said, the first year is the toughest year. And he goes, no, it's the second year. And I've come to believe that.
Yeah. So let me ask you, I have this belief. Bo disagrees with me a little bit. Bo and I don't always agree on everything. I think this team still needs more talent on it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're deep.
How many Pro Bowl players did they have?
1.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But some of that's because you lose.
And there were a couple other guys really who
Brewer should have been at center. Can't play any better than he did, and Jordan Brooks was fantastic.
Now, I agree, but to the point.
But you got one.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that plays the stat position in H-N. But we need to get more. People really down on. I was reading stuff last night about Jalen Waddle. You seeing this stuff? He takes himself out of games a lot. Goes out, and I think a lot of it is people take him in fantasy football, and he hasn't had.
No,
it's crazy. He's probably going to get.
I will say,
1,000 yards.
I like Jalen Waddle, and I think there's a lot more there. Okay, I think there's a lot more there with him. I will. What he played 12 snaps. He really has played a lot. When people say he's not, he is durable. You look at his game, how many games he's played. He's durable. The fact that they just wanted to feed Tyreek Hill for a while hurt him. And I think there's a lot more there with him. And there were games when I would watch him and he'd be, hey, give him the ball. He's open. And for whatever reason, Tua talked about it one game, he couldn't see over the line to throw him the ball. And which is a whole different matter. but
I don't even know how to answer that.
The Jalen Waddle, I like Jalen Waddle. I think there's more there.
You think you're number 1 receiver?
Well, how many number 1 receivers are there in the league? 10? Seriously, is he a number 1? No, but he's a good receiver.
So I think the Rams have 2.
No, they have 1.
I think Devontae Adams
not
really
right
good.
now. Not at this point.
Well, he's not playing, but he's.
Yeah.
You think T. Higgins is?
Yes.
Okay, he and Jamar Chase.
Yes. Let's go.
I don't know if too many teams have 2 of those guys.
No, not many. How many? Again, I'd say there's maybe 10, 12 number 1 receivers that you would classify.
Done a very good job here on, if I can critique Mike with different things, did not do a good enough job getting him the ball. Now, maybe
I agree.
It goes back to his quarterback.
Yes.
He did not do a good enough job finding and getting more targets to Waddle.
Well, you saw when Quinn Ewers came in the first half of the opening game. I think he had 50 yards receiving or something. I mean, he had 4 catches and he was getting the ball. So it seemed like, okay, this is to my point, I always thought there was more, and I still think there's more to Jalen Waddle than we've seen.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to go to break here. We've got a lot more stuff to get to here this morning as we continue on Monday Night Football Classic. Rams come back down 21-0 in the first half to tie it up in the fourth quarter, only to lose from a field goal. And we saw Mr. Robinson running the ball and running it well. 22 carries for 195 yards last night. In that game, we got some great games, man, coming up the rest of the week. If you're just an all-around junkie fan, this next 3 to 4 days, 5 days are just as good as you can get.
And starting last night, we had three games on at the same time.
Panthers,
but you're right.
both
Now they take a step up in consequence. All these games, there's a lot on the table.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Going to be a lot of fun here. Hey, stay with us. We got a lot more stuff to get to, including Kyle Crabb's going to join us. Locked On Fins podcast. We'll talk to him coming up here in less than 20 minutes from now. Atlantic Men's Clinic, ED and Loti, how you doing out there with this, man? Well, our guy, I always ask, how you doing, man? You seem like you're tired all the time. Sex drive is gone. I notice you've gained some weight because you're not as active as you used to be. You just don't have the energy. Well, nobody works out like they used to. Well, listen, man, when you feel better, you are more active. And when you eat the same amount and you're not exercising, you're going to gain. That 15 or 20 is going to attack that stomach, man. That's just the way it is. And if you're going through it right now and you've noticed you've cut way back on staying active and your sex drive is gone, you need Atlantic Men's Clinic. It's been almost 2 years, man. I've been going to Atlantic Men's Clinic. I've had such great results. I have shared it with everybody. No matter where I am, if somebody comes up to me and they're serious and they want to know about it, one guy brought his wife with him too, and I told him everything, man. I told him, I said, listen, it works. They're going to do all the testing. You go in there, the PSA test, take a look at your numbers, even if needed, a test dose, and you'll meet with their professional staff. They'll take a look at everything. They'll put together a program for you to have great results super fast. How about getting your sex drive back? How about having your energy level like it used to be when you did enjoy life and vacations more and weekends more? Well, with 7 locations in South Florida to serve you can't go wrong, including a brand new location in Hollywood. They're great staff. You got to set up that first appointment or I can't help you. 877-455-7300. Hear what they have to say. Go down and talk to them. If it's something that's bothering you and has for a while, ED and Loti, I don't care what age you are, you can get rid of it. I know, doesn't sound right. I'm telling you, they will get rid of it. 877-455-7300 or visit AtlanticMen'sClinic.com. Set up that first appointment today. It works.
Today's topics are
Oh, wow. A lot of stuff going on here. Good morning to everybody out there, man. Hope you're having a great few days. Hope everybody out there got a few days off, and see a lot of people on the road, so I realize a lot of people are working before we kick in that new year. Dave Hyde from the Sentinel with us. All day Dan Day in the other room, always working. I'll tell you what, that man, he earned that nickname, All Day Dan Day, because that man works all day at this radio station. And Jamie, he is Mr. Clutch. For a young man, he said these hours don't affect him, even though he does like to run the streets a little bit at night. But he's doing just fine. Kid's doing okay. He's good.
Jamie, you're in play is basically, you're sitting there behind the other side. We put your whole life in play right now, right?
Yeah, always pick on the new guy, right?
I'll tell you what, though. He came in, he goes, hey, man, I want to let you know I give it my best shot in this because I asked him, how you doing with the ladies? He goes, I'm it's not from lack of trying. It's not from lack of trying. I'm going after
I
it.
think he's got some success. He's too confident about it all not to have had a lot lot of success.
Yeah,
Don't
there's
get
good
that
nights
idea?
and bad nights. How it goes. It's just like sports, right?
What do they say? 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, but no doesn't bother him. No, no doesn't knock him down. The kid doesn't leave with his head down. He just goes, that's okay. We'll find somebody else. We're gonna give this thing a.
Roger Federer only won 54% of his points.
The best
that's
hitters
his
in
point.
baseball
I
history
heard that.
only got
I heard
on
when you
base
said
3 out
that.
of
That's
10
funny
times.
you said that. What's that?
The best baseball hitters in history only got on base 3 times out of 10. So that's how it goes. That's how it
That's
goes.
a great way to put it.
I'm not sweating
A
over
baseball
here.
analogy. I love that.
It's all
That's
good.
a good one. Hey, so we've got all these playoff games coming up. Got our last week of the NFL starting Saturday night. Got some great games coming up. You think Tampa Bay, the way they look, has any chance to beat Carolina?
I don't think they could beat anybody. They've lost, 7 of 8?
7 of 8.
And they're still alive to win their division.
That's what happens when your division's not very good, number one. And number two, you got off to a great start.
Yeah.
They did get off to a really good start, and they just fell apart. They are so bad, and look, they just didn't the breakdowns and the way everything. Todd Bowles could be in trouble.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Well, look at Sunday. Tristan Wirth, their all-pro tackles out, and both starting guards are out. So 3/5 of their offense, and Baker Mayfield's already hurt, and
3 starters out.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what happens in the NFL. But
I
agree. Todd Bowles looks in trouble.
How bad will Black Monday be for coaches in general? Coordinators somewhat will be involved in some of that too.
What do you do if you're the Jets?
I think they're terrible. I mean,
they're not only terrible, they're terrible at defense, which is first you pick the wrong quarterback. Now I don't know who's responsible for that. In that Justin Fields didn't work out.
Well, it is clear cut what they're going to do in the draft.
Yes,
it is clear cut. Now
they made good in-season decisions to help their rebuild.
You can make an argument along with the Raiders. I don't know what the teams that are left. The Titans haven't been very good either, but there's 3 or 4 really, really bad teams. Really, really bad, to the point of looking dysfunctional. And the Jets are one of them. And they continue to be, even though they've changed all these, Aaron Glenn's one of their guys and came from the Detroit background with Campbell and Dan Campbell there. And
you have a defensive coach and the defense doesn't have an interception all year. I mean, that's just staggering. NFL team not having an interception.
That's hard to do. Think about tip balls. Think about overthrowing a square in and a safeties. That happens.
You played Tua twice.
You had to get that in there.
Yeah, I did throw. He led the league in interceptions, was my point.
You know what I did last game? Before the game, I went and sat down and I watched him on the field when he came out. I was curious. I was just curious because the whole thing that he has a meeting with the quarterback coach and going through everything early, they don't do that anymore. That's now Quinn Ewers doing that. warming up certain groups on one side or the other. He's the third guy. He's not doing that. He stands in the back. It's
it is a weird.
You think it bothers
dynamic?
Him?
I think it has to bother him, doesn't it? I
Yes.
mean, you've been the man. Everybody has been. Everything has revolved around you for the last 4 years.
But it's not like guys go up to him and go, "Man, you got screwed, bro. This is
no." I think everybody is ready to move on. I get that feeling in the organization, and
I have not heard one person nationally or locally. He's got still a few left that still have.
I have. Kurt Warner put out a video saying no way he should have been benched.
Kurt Warner?
Yeah. So there. But to your point, that's the outlier. Most everybody. Okay, I get why they're moving on.
I would just say to Kurt Warner, you haven't seen him play.
Right.
Enough.
Exactly. But
he literally. I started this 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was like, they were winning games and he wasn't playing well. And I was like, we're winning games. And, hey, we got a running game. Our defense getting takeaways, a crazy amount of takeaways by the defense. And I was like, you look at every part of this team and they're all getting better except him. He's getting worse. And then Mike started to shrink the offense down for him. And they were treating him like he was a 7th-round quarterback.
Yeah.
It was a rookie.
The whole game design was to minimize the quarterback.
And by the way, he had to see that. They're like, okay, we won't have you throw this because every time you throw this, it's a disaster. All right, he's not good at this. Let's do this. And let's do a bootleg outside the pocket where he can throw to his left to a crossing tight end. It's incredible. I just thought, I said it, he's was going to finish the year as a quarterback and probably be your quarterback next year. And Mike will continue to be the mad scientist and try to get things to work. And he finally,
the mad scientist didn't have any more.
I think he finally
tricks.
Walked in one day and said, I can't cover you up anymore, man. I've done everything I can for you. I've done everything I can. I've made you a wealthy man. I've made you at some point a good quarterback in this league. And it's done. It's over.
And it was a huge hit because, as we all know, Mike pounded the table to get the contract. And now that will be the most money any team's ever eaten.
This thing with Mike too, because people are asking me, so I don't want to hear about the wins that he's had in recent time. He won 4 in a row, and then they beat Tampa Bay. And, we got to look at the every part of what he's done since he's been here. And it's a good point. I would think the team would ask him, before if they're going to give him the job and if he's going to stay, they got to ask some questions. Hey, what have you changed the most? What have you learned while you're doing this? We're just curious. We got to make a decision if we're going forward with you. Because, I don't care what he says. And I know the story behind this, but that letting everybody come out and say guys were late at the end of the year was just terrible. It made him look so bad. Like, don't tell people that. If you have a problem with it, get rid of those guys privately. Make it real clear to your team that won't be tolerated anymore. But don't go around letting all your guys come out and go, yeah, we had a problem with guys being late.
Yeah, it's a bad look, but larger than the bad look was the fact it happened all year. I mean, there's the issue. And you talk about your 2 best players or two of your 3 highest paid players late. And I get we moved on from that this year, but
Tyreek's not coming back.
But that
no shot.
That he wasn't coming back if he was healthy. And the fact that he's not healthy. But there you go, more dead money. I think that's another 20-something million. I think they have basically 127 million of dead money, meaning money they're going to pay for players who won't be here. That's what dead money basically spells out. 127 million.
You want to get as much of it off the books as you can after this year. They're going to be more the following year.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, like with Tua, I don't think they're going to take 99 million in 1 year. They're split at 67-33 is sort of the breakdown that it comes to. That would seem the logical choice. But again,
well, you know what they do? They'll go to Brandon Shore. Go, all right, Brandon, how do we
get out of this?
How do we get out of this mess? And they go, by the way, before we start, did you have anything to do with this? And then they go, second question is, because a lot of guys don't understand that. Most coaches don't. Most people in the organization don't understand the cap.
Yeah, I think Brandon Shore did one good thing in this, and he made the off-ramp at 3 years instead of 4 years, where you look at the Trevor Lawrences and all the other guys who got the big money, it was 4 years. If they had 2 more years of this,
good, you don't mind it.
Well, it wasn't his decision to give him the contract. If they come to him and say, we need a contract, here's the parameters, and he made it for 3 years, and that was a good decision.
Hey, man, we got to go to break here. We've got Kyle Crabb's going to join us coming up here, so stay with us. We're running super late, so we'll take a quick break. Back in a moment.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing.
3.
The Heat defeated the Nuggets 147-123 last night. Next up, the Pistons Thursday at 7. The Panthers, they down the Washington Capitals 5-3. They play the Canadiens tonight at 7. And the Canes basketball team, they open ACC play tonight at 7 against Pitt at the Watsco Center. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
All right, welcome back here for the 8 o'clock hour. Let's really dive into the Miami Dolphins a little bit. Kyle Krause from Locked On Fins podcast joins us this morning. Kyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Appreciate it. Hope you had a great Christmas and got some time off to be with your family for New Year's. But we appreciate you spending some time with us. Hey, let's jump right into it. What have you seen from Quinn Ewers through the first 2 games? Are you ready to give him a chance to start next year? Do we still need a franchise quarterback? How do you feel about what you've seen?
I think Quinn's through the first 2 starts been further ahead than what I would have expected and what my expectations were. And I'm encouraged by what he's shown. And a couple of things that stand out to me include, I think the decision-making has been really on point. I don't think he's put the ball in harm's way other than that shot to Waddle on the second interception that they had in the game against Cincinnati. I like some of the aggressiveness, and I'm really impressed with the way he's using his eyes. You know, he talked about that touchdown pass to Theo Weiss and kind of understanding how they're rolling coverage and understanding the value of his helmet stripe. And if it's pointed at the guy that's running the out route from number 2, that corner's going to pin down and I can put it over the top of him. And manipulating zone defenders as a 7th-round rookie it's not bad. Now, as far as how many eggs you put in that basket, I certainly think you competition. But if you told me you're going into next offseason with a guy you sign in free agency or a guy that you draft, I would let that be an open competition, and it would be no holds barred for me.
All right, Kyle, where do you get the competition? That's sort of, all roads lead to that question as they have for a couple decades here.
Right. And I think the potential answers could go through any number of the different avenues the Dolphins have tried over the years, whether that's trading for a Mac Jones, whether that's signing a Malik Willis in free agency, whether that's finding the right guy in the draft. I think the one thing the Dolphins are ill-positioned to do is to trade the farm to make a splash in the draft to go up and get a quarterback in the top 3. I just don't. I think this roster has too many needs. You're just coming out of a period in which you didn't have a lot of draft capital to add to the team. And I think that, paired with who the guys are at the top of this year's class, it'd be a really tough sell for me to kind of mortgage the farm to go up and get a young guy because I think this roster really needs that infusion of picks.
Hey, so I want to ask you about your thoughts about coming back with a starting 5 on this offensive line, or do you want to see? I'm not saying you always want to add depth, but Patrick Paul, Savaianaya, Brewer, Strange, and Jackson. How would you feel if I said that starting 5 was coming back next year?
I'd like to know who your utility interior player was, because I think Cole's gotten better throughout the course of this year and really settled in. When you remind yourself he was picked up off waivers like September 9th and was starting by week 4. So he's got a pretty good pedigree. He's a good scheme fit for the system. So if you're bringing back Mike next year, I think the continuity is a really good thing because it's been a thing the Dolphins have not had a lot of along the offensive line for a really long time. I worry about who your utility tackle or who your swing tackle is and who your utility interior player is, because I think in a perfect world, Cole Strange would be the guy they signed Liam Eichenberg to be this year. And then Liam obviously had whatever issues he's had, and we haven't seen him. He's been on the PUP list all season. And then the Austin Jackson thing is the durability questions being what they are. Are you bringing back Larry Borum, who I think did pretty well to hold his head above water? If you're not bringing back Larry, I think you need somebody that's a pretty reasonable investment that could potentially be a starter for an extended period because of Austin's history.
All right, Kyle, you got a $212 million bench warmer right now. Where do you go with Tua's situation in this offseason and moving forward to make it as painless as possible at this point?
Yeah, I think that's a very tricky proposition to make it painless, right? Because as you said, David, it's a monumental amount of money. And I think that the best avenue for the Dolphins is to make a decision pretty early on about, what is the dollar amounts that we're willing to eat on the contract, and whatever that number is, shop it, see what you can get in the way of any kind of interest. Trading him realistically is not really going to be an option until after June 1st. So I think if you're going to move on, it would probably behoove you to just kind of make your decision. You do have $3 million in guarantees for 2027 that activates the first week of the league year in March. So if you know that he's off and if you shop it and you don't really feel like you're going to have a market, ask yourself, do you want to lock in another $3 million for a buyout next year to hold this thing out and draw it out, right? Like, I think that's the really difficult part. It's not a monumental amount of money, but you're still signing yourself up for potentially more sunk costs. And if you don't feel like you're going to have any market, no matter how much of the contract you're going to eat, designate them as a post-June 1st cut. They have a little bit of flexibility as far as, they could technically restructure and change a portion of that salary into a rework signing bonus and push more of it to 26 if you need operating cap, or to 27 if you need operating cap in 26. But, it's probably going to be designated post-June 1st cut would be my guess on what the resolution of this, and just move on. I think it'd be better for all parties that way.
I'm not looking to take shots at him. I know everybody's been dogpiling on him since he got benched, but does he have any value to any teams? Are there any teams that are going to take on the same problems and concerns that we've had here? Who's interested in him at this point?
Well, I think the luxury that you have if you're a team that's looking to trade for Tua Tagovailoa is you're going to be getting him at an at-cost discount versus what his contract is, because the Dolphins would have to eat a significant portion of the salary. And there's only a $3 million. Like, if you trade for him, you only have a $3 million buyout. So if you were to trade for Tua on a $10 million contract because you struck out in the draft, hypothetically, and then you get to June and the Dolphins eat 42 of the salary, and you could trade for him hey, we don't really have a lot of guarantees here that we have to work with, and it's a reasonable cost for a one-year bridge for a team that maybe has pressure to compete and wants somebody to execute an offense. Maybe you could get a bite, but it's going to be a really specific set of conditions, and it's certainly not going to be something that I think would materialize for them until after the draft comes and goes and teams get an idea of if they struck out on trying to add somebody that they feel like could compete in the draft in what's already kind of a limited quarterback class.
You've heard this, people talking about HN and the new contract, which obviously he's worth as a former third-round pick out of Texas A&M, and in last year his contract here coming up.
Yep.
You give it to him, or hey, money, and we don't give out those contracts like we used to. We're things a little different around here right now, and you play a running back position, or do you take care of the guy that's clearly been the best player in your team?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting decision that whoever your next general manager gets to make, is kind of redefining the way that the Dolphins do business. Because the Dolphins, at least in this past regime, have been squeaky wheels get the grease, right? And squeaky wheels also get paid. And the second you start squeaking, you get a new contract, right? That's kind of been the status quo. So I think the thing that Dolphins have working for their favor, if they wanted to slow play Devon Achane's contract decision, is the running back franchise tag is a very team-friendly rate if you needed it for 2027. And that's not a position in which the salary is scaling at the same rate in which the salary cap is scaling. Like, you've got some positions into your offensive line. You're seeing offensive guards go out in free agency now and get $18, $19 million a year. Robert Hunt got $20 million a year 2 years ago.
Right.
Like, that's a significant leap. Running backs have been much more kind of stagnant. They've been stuck in the teens unless you're Saquon Barkley. And I think that's something that, Devon, if you're always worried about if you put off a contract extension, it's going to cost you more in the long run. But at the running back position, the inflation rate, I think, is limited, that if you wanted to kind of take your time and say, look, we're not really doing big deals in 2026, There's a few guys that I think would be worth it, and Achane would be on the list for me. But if you wanted to take your time, I don't think that would bite you in the rear end too much.
All right, Kyle, you brought up the number one topic before we get into the weeds with all the stuff we've been talking to money. Who's going to be making the decisions around here? What would you hope plays out, or what would you hope the basis of the decision is?
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that we get to next Monday and we start getting reports, because obviously fans have had questions to me about why are they just going to let Champ Kelly run this thing? What's the deal with the interviews? Teams can't conduct formal interviews and request interviews for employees for other teams until after the regular season ends. So like next Monday is kind of the opening of the window. And I'm really hopeful that you will see kind of a methodical drip of names for interviews that the Dolphins are holding, because it would indicate to me that they took advantage of the jump start that they got on their information and fact finding on candidates. And I'd like to see a comprehensive series of interviews, whether those are virtual at first and then in person, or if you just have really comprehensive in-person interviews. I want to see a pretty good representation of candidates that the Dolphins request and hold interviews with. And then, it's at the end of the day, it's really hard from the outside in to make a judgment on what fuels those decisions. But I'd like to see something that doesn't draw out until the end of January, right? Like you're in a really pivotal window for just making some decisions on some players and deciding what you're doing with Mike McDaniel, all that stuff. So I would just like to see kind of a coordinated, organized, methodical effort to interview candidates and then make your decision. And then we hope they make the right one.
Let's talk about the quarterback class. One of those guys going to be playing down here, Oregon to Texas Tech in Orange Bowl Thursday, 12 o'clock start. Yeah. How do you like this quarterback class, and how deep is it if the Dolphins were to go that route and try to find a quarterback early?
Yeah, I think your options for early in the draft is pretty limited. I really like Moore from Oregon. He's my favorite one out of the group. Fernando Mendoza, I think, has a lot of appeal. Super intelligent player, has kind of the prototypical build, can move a little bit, has a pretty strong arm. Those are the two guys that I think if you're asking and setting the over-under at how many quarterbacks go in the first round, it's probably 2.5, and the odds would favor the under, and it would be those two guys. Wow. To get somebody else, you'd need like Ty Simpson from Alabama to come out, but he's not a guy that's got a great deep ball. He's not a guy that's got great physical traits. He's got 1 year of starts under his belt, so he's a really limited starter experience. Like, there's a lot of traditional flags that would cause you to hit pause on drafting a guy like that early on his resume. And he kind of faded down the stretch. Now, he was pretty good in the first playoff game, but he started really hot and then faded the last month of the regular season for Alabama. So that's kind of where you see the Raiders and the Giants doing what they're doing with sitting everybody for the chance for the number one pick, because the Giants know they could get a king's ransom if they get the number one pick, and the Raiders know if we're not going to get many cracks. And if the Giants end up in front of us, it might cost us a lot to just play defense to get the quarterback that we want and do a trade with the Giants. So it's pretty limited in that regard.
So plan B for a quarterback, the guys out there who are, you mentioned Mac Jones, you mentioned Malik Willis fascinates me. And I talked to a guy in the league this last weekend, and I said, "What about him?" And they said he's going to cost $30 million, north of $30 million.
Really, that much?
And I was maybe not stunned, but a little sticker shock. First of all, could the Dolphins even do that with their situation? I mean, they're going to, like you said, they're going to need somebody. And I've written they need to go out and get a potential franchise quarterback.
Yes.
But where do they? Is Malik Willis in play for them?
I think Malik Willis deserves strong consideration for Miami, but if the price point's north of 30, that's where I would have a hard time. And Sam Darnold was just on the open market last year, won 13 games in Minnesota, pass for 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns, and he got $33 million a year. So if Malik Willis has 155 career pass attempts and he's pushing 30 and somebody wants to offer that to Malik, I tip my cap to that team.
What would you pay? What do you
There's
think?
some desperate teams out there for quarterbacks.
I was shocked. But what do you think a contract for him would be fair?
So I look at what the Jets just gave to Justin Fields this past year, which was 2 years for $40 million total, with $30 million guaranteed across 2 seasons. I think you maybe do the cap goes up about 10% every year. If you were going to do a cap adjustment off of that contract, I think that's probably the ballpark where I think it acknowledges the starter upside, because Fields was signed to be the starter in New York and be a potential swing of the bat for a franchise guy. It obviously didn't work out, but he had a first-round pedigree. He had great physical traits, but there were some questions. I think that's the kind of ballpark for me, and Miami could certainly accommodate that because they've been on a 2-year downturn as far as what their cash spending is, and this will be the first year since 2019 based on kind of the contracts that they have and offloading and their cap situation. I would expect that they're going to spend less cash than the salary cap ceiling is.
Yeah.
You know, teams like to spend 10% above the salary cap on an annual year because you can spread out the hits over a 5-year window, and you kind of have this rolling debt, and the inflation of the cap kind of off-puts how you're deferring it into future years. So I think that's for Miami, cutting the salary of guys like Tyreek Hill, potentially Bradley Chubb, maybe Austin Jackson or James Daniels. As you know, James Daniels is owed about $8 million next year.
Goodbye, right? James Daniels. Goodbye. Yeah.
So guys like that, they could find themselves in the bottom 8 of the NFL in cash spending in 2026 to kind of get their salary cap books rebalanced. And if it dips that low, if you're talking about a 2-year, $40 million contract for a swing of the bat of a guy like Malik Willis, I think you can take that on. But if teams are going to go 2 for 60 or 3 for 100, like Sam Darnold just got for a guy with 155 attempts, I think that would be very ambitious if that were the cost.
Kyle, always great stuff, my man. You had a little build-up. You were ready to go today. No question about it. Kyle, hang in there. Appreciate you coming on, brother. Have a great new year.
Thanks, guys. You too. Take care.
All right, Kyle Crabbs joining us here. Talk a little bit about the Miami Dolphins, and I want to talk about Baptist Health South Florida, that sports medicine program they have. You talk about where do the pros go? Enter Miami, the Heat, the Panthers, the Miami Dolphins. They put together a program everybody wants to be part of. Everybody, with the team doctors and all the great specialists they put together: knee, shoulder, foot, and ankle, hand specialists, back specialists, hip and knee replacement doctors, Achilles doctors, with 3 beautiful facilities: Doctors Hospital in Coral Gables, Hard Rock Stadium right next to the training facility, a gorgeous facility there right off 27th Street, and 595 in Pine Island in Plantation. So easy to get to, man. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho. One go every day. They're not just taking care of high school, college, and professional athletes. They're taking care of all of us. If you're competitive, you know what happens. Sooner or later, we all get injured. It sure is nice to have Baptist Health South Florida. Welcome back, and good morning to everybody. Want to thank Kyle Krabs for joining us. Talk a little bit about the Dolphins, man. We could have kept Kyle Krabs on for about 3.5 hours because there's a lot of work in getting into guys that you want to keep. I got a pretty good idea who I like and I don't like on this team.
And it's another offseason where the offseason at this point is more interesting than the season, right? I mean, they got so many big decisions to make that
we're going to have to come back with a lot of that offensive line and defensive line, though.
Yeah.
Those core are going to be your guys.
Absolutely. And, Patrick Paul is maybe the best rising player on the roster, right? I mean, Achan's there. He's risen. Is Patrick Paul? I think you can pencil him.
Well, I'll tell you what, his durability, one thing, he's a noble guy. I do like that about him. I got to tell you, I don't know what the deal is with Jordan Brooks, but we got to have Jordan Brooks back. Jordan Brooks is the heart and soul.
He's had 2 great seasons.
I think you have a lot of guys. Yeah. There are guys on this team that you have under contract. I hope. And there are a lot of guys that played like a lot. The 2 veteran cornerbacks, Jack Jones and Rasul Douglas, loved it. I had no problem with either one of those guys. And I know they got, I know T. Higgins came into town. And
T. Higgins does that to a lot of people. Jamar Chase, they're going to
over guys and does those things.
Douglas was the surprise of the season, probably, wasn't he? As far as really coming in and
smart player.
August. Did he come in August or right before the season?
No, those guys came in after the thing started.
Well, I know that was one of the things.
Because guys started dropping.
Weaver correctly said, you just can't. That's no way to set up a defense to make decisions that late, on players. But the question is going to be, who's your edge rushers? Who's your edge rusher? You went from being pretty deep at that this year to.
Well, I don't want to call anybody out here today. But Chop Robinson has not played well enough.
No.
Does not make enough plays. And now he's hurt. Probably he's got a concussion, so I don't even know if he's going to play this week. And Bradley Chubb he's coming on strong, man. And honestly, Bradley Chubb has flushed a lot of guys that got sacks off his pass rush. And I don't know, and he's doing this incentive thing. You want to talk about a guy that's motivated now that all his business is out there. Everybody's seen when they cut his salary down, they paid him all this incentives to thinking, I'm sure you're not going to get all these.
Well, or they thought, as opposed to losing him for a year, at least, hey, you pay for play. If you make it through the season, you're going to make good money.
He's over 70% playing so far, 70% of the snaps, which is a huge bonus. He's got bonus. He just hit a jackpot with 2 more at 8.5 sacks. So, and by the way, Tyrell Dotson's been another guy I love watching, but Chop Robinson is just.
You need a young cornerback.
Listen, man, you're a first-round pick, and he just didn't do much. Got 4 sacks.
And got 6 last year when he came on at the end of the year.
Came on,
and that was the hope that he'd keep progressing. But his quarterback hits, 7 this year as opposed to 14 last year. And that's a position where numbers, some positions numbers don't define you. At that position,
that one does. I agree. Hey, by the way, we got coming up here with the Patriots being one of the great stories this year, and of course the Dolphins getting set to play, and we're going to find out who's playing and who's not playing. We're going to be talking to Ben Volen from the Boston Globe, who covers the Patriots. We'll have him coming up when we come back here in just a few minutes. First of all, I want to tell you about Atlantic Men's Clinic ED and Low T, man. It's nothing to mess with. I don't care what age you are. I was blown away when I went to Atlantic Men's Clinic to find out it happens to every guy out there. I thought it was a me problem. No. This happens to every guy out there. Low T, the numbers go down. And for some guys, they start to really notice in their early 40s with this. But when you go to Atlantic Men's Clinic, one of their clinics, you find out oh, man, there's all different ages in here, and they're getting great results. If you'd like to get rid of and get your energy back and your sex drive back, and it's been gone for a while, don't worry about it. Atlantic Men's Clinic, this is what they do. They take care of, they knock out ED and low T, get your numbers where they need to be, and then on top of that, you're going to get great results. More energy to get more out of your weekends and your vacations and staying active again. And then on top of that, you lose weight and your sex drive is back. How about chasing that little lady of yours around on a weekend? Something you haven't done in a long time. If it's still important to you, it was me. Man, I took care of it. Atlantic Men's Clinic was phenomenal. You go to set up that first appointment, you get the PSA test done. If medically advised, the test dose. They have a great staff who will set you up on a program after they look at your numbers. It's made for you. 7 locations in South Florida. I go to the Plantation location on my way down there today. They also have a brand new one in Hollywood. Call them 877-455-7300. If you want to really make your new year special, kick it off with Atlantic Men's Clinic. It works. 877-455-7300 or visit atlanticmensclinic.com.
WQAM.
And good morning to everybody. The Miami Dolphins getting set to finish up their season up in Foxborough against the New England Patriots, who have been absolutely one of the best stories in football, from 4-13 a year ago to 13-3, as we are joined this morning by Ben Volen, who joins us from the Boston Globe. Benny, nice to have you. How you doing?
What's up, big dog? Always great to be on with you. Appreciate you, man.
And thank you. I appreciate it. Dave Hyde's also with me this morning, and I just wanted to let you know, trying to figure out how the hell this thing get flipped around. I thought Drake May had a chance on that terrible roster a year ago, but man, did they flip that thing around. What's the biggest things that happened for you that they're sitting here with a chance to have the best record in the AFC?
Yeah, a crazy turnaround for the Patriots, Joe. They've been sprinkled in magic pixie dust all season. Every move they've made has been a home run. The coaching has been so much better. Vrabel's been terrific, leading the new era of this organization. He's done such a good job of changing the culture and just changing everything about kind of the Patriots right now. Josh McDaniels, phenomenal job this year. You have to give him and his staff so much credit. A very experienced staff. Doug Marrone coaching the offensive line. Thomas Brown, a former coordinator and interim head coach, coaching the tight ends in the passing game. So the coaching has been better. Drake May has taken that second-year jump. He's been unbelievable. I believe the betting favorite to win MVP right now. I mean, his numbers this year are just so eye-opening. And he plays with poise well beyond, his age right now. All the free agents they've signed have been good to great. Like every move they've made.
Amazing.
Oh, this makes me sick to hear this. Just
the Stephon Diggs ones, by the way, shock.
And I can't leave out that the schedule has been very forgiving this year. They've played a lot of bad quarterbacks and bad teams, but give the Patriots credit. 8-0 on the road. That's not something that happens very often or is easy to do. Just everything about them this year has been like a charmed life for the Patriots.
Yeah, congrats, Ben. You had that tough years there where, what was it, 5 years between Super Bowls or something? Yeah. But really, it's been 5 years, hasn't it? 5 or 6 since the Brady Belichick era left. And
yeah, 5 years.
I always said that here in South Florida, us writers, we write obituaries, and Patriots writers write books about their team. So tell us, what's your thoughts going into the playoffs? Seriously, about can the Patriots make a run here through the AFC?
So, I mean, they definitely can. There's no team in the AFC that I think you look at and say that's a dominant team right now with no flaws. So there's no reason the Patriots couldn't do it. I'm not fully expecting it. I do think I see a little bit of last year's Minnesota Vikings in the Patriots, where the Vikings went 14-3, but didn't really have a championship caliber team and lost in the wild card round. I could see. I think realistically, the Patriots are going to be out of the playoffs by the divisional round. I'd be surprised if they or I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't see them as being a really quality team. And I think the problem is in the trenches. Their offensive line still isn't great. They get pushed around. Their short yardage running has been struggling for the second half of the season. And defensively, they are going to start getting guys back from injury, but opposing teams have been running all over the Patriots. And that's a bad formula for the playoffs. And honestly, there's a kind of a nightmare scenario. I don't know about nightmare, but a worst case scenario, I think, shaping up for the Patriots, where if the standings hold, if they finish in second place and the Bills finish in seventh, the Patriots will host the Bills in the playoffs. And to me, that's the one team that would not be afraid of playing in the cold. If you're the Patriots, you'd much rather play C.J. Stroud or Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence in a cold weather game in your place. Josh Allen and the Bills, who just erased a 21-0 deficit in your building. So I have my eye on the Bills this week. They could tank this game to the Jets to ensure maybe that they play the Patriots. So that'll be something interesting to watch.
Hey, I got to ask you, so the Chargers come out yesterday and say, hey, Justin Herbert's not playing. We're going to rest all our key guys against the Denver Broncos. And I was wondering after that happened, I said yesterday, hey, this may change what Vrabel's thinking up there in New England. Do you expect he'll play all his guys against the Dolphins to win that game?
So I think the Patriots will go for it just because all those games are at the same time. The Broncos-Chargers game, the Bills-Jets game, the Patriots-Dolphins, they're all at 4:25. And, yeah, Herbert might sit, but, who knows? I think if you're Vrabel and the Patriots, you go for it and you give your best effort. And to get to 14-3 would be an incredible achievement for this franchise. And they haven't played as well at home this year. So to finish the season right with a home win, going into the playoffs with some momentum.
I know, Dave. I know what Dave's thinking. What we're going through down here. I know what you're thinking. No, there's no question.
14
Ben, by the way, Ben,
played as well.
Don't worry. Ben's lived some of this down here when he was here, too.
Ben was
don't
with
forget.
The Palm Beach Post.
Yeah,
He knows.
Ben had to go through some of this stuff. Hey, I got to ask you, Stephon Diggs, man. I thought when they signed him to that contract, I went, oh, this is bad news. And he has been like a leader. I hear him talk before the games. They get him. He's been great. Has he really been this happy all season?
Yeah, he has. He has been a great addition. And I think, winning 13 games definitely plays a lot into that. If they weren't winning all the time, because there have been some games where he has 2 catches for 21 yards or whatever. And he has not really, shown one iota of being, really disgruntled this year. But he's been a great leader for a team that, a lot of new faces this year in free agency in the draft, a lot of young receivers who hadn't really accomplished much in the league. And so Diggs, I think honestly, his professionalism, his training, he is definitely one of the team's hardest workers. And, he started off a little bit on the wrong foot. He had that incident down in Miami on the boat or whatever. But since then, he's really been, A+, as far as I'm concerned, with how he's handled himself and his leadership. And then on the field, 2 straight 100-yard games here in December down the stretch, proving to be someone the Patriots can rely on. So Diggs has been terrific for them.
Hey, so to get away from the football stuff on the field and back into a little New England drama here. So how's the Belichick thing? This was just an unbelievable year. Like everybody around the country is talking about Bill and his young girlfriend there. And then when the stuff came out about him blocking the Patriots from coming to North Carolina, not that they'd be interested in any of those players apparently anyway. It didn't look like he had a lot of good players on that team. How much ride did that get up there from you guys in the media? How'd you guys cover that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Belichick, even though he's at UNC, is still a intriguing character that everyone here in New England is very invested in. So, didn't cover UNC day to day, but the Belichick effect is something that is talked about a lot. And obviously this was pretty much a disaster for UNC. I think, Belichick was generating a lot of the headlines for all the wrong reasons. And I don't think UNC expected that. They probably, they thought they were getting the no nonsense, do your job kind of Bill Belichick. And it's been very different with the girlfriend and the attention that they're generating and some of the pettiness with the Patriots, no question. I honestly, his contract, I think, is saving him. The UNC still owes him 2 years and $20 million guaranteed. And it doesn't look like there's a group of wealthy boosters who are willing to scrap the cash together to pay him off. So I think they give him one more year to see if he can get things going. And if it just doesn't work out, then they'll buy him out of that third year. But honestly, if not for the contract, I think they probably would have been moving on because it just did not work out in any way that I think anyone expected.
All right, let's continue with the Patriot alum coaches, and because the Miami Hurricanes are going to face one of them, Matt Patricia, tomorrow. I'm just curious. You're the national NFL writer for the Boston Globe. Do you expect Patricia to stay and get back into the pros, or is he? He's tearing up college football right now.
He's on a good pro team, though, where he is right now.
Yeah, he's making. But even when they lost to Indiana, they gave up 13 points. And what do you see as his future?
Matt Patricia at Ohio State this year isn't fair because he's got he's going to bring the schematic advantage every week, and then Ohio State also has the talent advantage.
Yeah.
So I think they gave up like 10 touchdowns in 13 games or something. Like,
Jeez.
I mean, it was every game was just a blowout because the defense wasn't giving up anything. If I had to guess, I think his heart's in the NFL. I think, Ohio State was a good landing spot for him to buy some time. But if I had to bet, he'd rather be back in the NFL. And, who knows? Like, I'm sure he made some friends over the years that weren't just Belichick guys. And perhaps, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets back as a defensive coordinator. But, I think his opportunity as a head coach is probably come and gone. And, that's what's going. The Belichick tree is not something that is very marketable right now for these coaches. It just hasn't worked out for any of them.
No.
And Vrabel is the only reason he's working is because he's got away and he's learned from some other guys. So, that's probably where Patricia's headed.
Ben, I got to tell you, man, it was great having you, bud. I appreciate it, and I will see you in a couple of days up there. If you could get us some decent weather, I'd appreciate it. But we'll see you this weekend.
Yeah, bring your snow gear and your cold weather gear, Joe. It's going to be cold.
All right, Benny. Thank you, buddy.
All right,
Appreciate it.
See you guys. Thank
All
you.
right. Ben Boland joining us this morning from the Boston Globe. Talk a little bit about the Patriots, man. Everything's good. Everything worked out. He brought the schedule.
He went right down the list of, the quarterback, the free agent decision, the coach decision, this decision, that decision. Everything's
hey,
good.
man,
Everything.
Sometimes you hit it, right? And you stay pretty healthy. They've lost a few guys, but
that shows you it all comes down to just football decisions, right?
yes.
Football, making good football. Don't try to trick it. We're gonna tank, and that's how we're gonna. No, it still comes down to football decisions.
I agree. No, there's no new ways to do it, man. It's a good old fashioned way. I agree. Totally agree. Hey, we got 9:00 hour coming up here. Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, guaranteed to stir it up. Guaranteed to get it rocking and rolling this morning. You have to worry about that with him. Hey, I do want to take a second to tell you about Chapman Partnership, and I want to thank all the people that have donated to Chapman Partnership and their 2 facilities in Dade County, doing great work for the homeless. And I always say it's so much more than a homeless coming in and grabbing a bite to eat or having shelter for a night. No. It's about overhaul. It's about all the caring support and wraparound services they have, and they do so much. And so many doctors donate their time. Mental health doctors, our doctors in Dade County are nice enough to come down there, donate their time, and really help. So really, the generosity is during the holiday season has just made such a big difference. I always start with Bam Adebayo because he does so much. The Heat have been really involved with Chapman Partnership, and they do a great job. And I always tell everybody, man, it really is. It's about rehabilitation within 3 to 4 months, helping you get back out on your feet, helping the homeless find a job, find a place to live. Half the people that are in Chapman Partnership are families. Getting those families back together outside the facility is the goal every day. Hey, they're doing great work, and we can always use your help during this holiday season. Be part of the village that supports Chapman Partnership. It makes a big difference. You can visit their website at chapmanpartnership.org/sponsor a meal or donate money. It really makes a difference for anything you can do at Chapman Partnership. This holiday season, if things are going well, it'll make you feel good. Thank you so much.
Today's topics are sponsored.
And 747-3733.
The Panthers play the Canadiens tonight at 7. The Canes basketball team open ACC play tonight at 7 against Pitt at the Watsco Center. And Tiger Woods turned 50 yesterday and is now eligible to play on the PGA Tour Champion Circuit, formerly known as the Senior PGA Tour. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
All right, welcome back for the 9 o'clock hour. Mike Florio is going to join us coming up here in a little while. We'll talk to him. This one of the 4 great stories in the National Football League. Patriots, 4-13 a year ago. Absolutely the worst roster that we saw last year, and have turned this around to 13-3. And you appreciate Ben coming on to talk to us a little bit about everything from Drake May. Let's start with that. A head coach coming in here with a lot of experience in Vrabel. And then hitting big in free agency, hitting big in the draft. And
look, Vrabel isn't to Belichick standards, obviously, with the Patriots, but you could see for the next decade, Vrabel and Drake May together being a
no question
roadblock for the AFC East. And then you got Josh Allen, and I don't want to say Sean McDermott.
Hey, by the way,
I have no idea.
That game's probably going to happen.
That's interesting that it would come down to them again.
They're going to sit. The problem is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Bills and Jets play each other. So even if
both teams want to lose.
Yeah, but if Josh Allen,
he's not going to play.
He's not playing. No, he's out.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's out. He's limping around, and they told him, no, Mitchell Trubisky's going to start. So I don't know how many guys are going to rest, but they're playing the Jets, who are terrible, and the Jets are like, hey, we want to stay bad.
They're the 3rd pick. They have the 3rd pick right now. And in a two quarterback as
you don't think both quarterbacks go 1 and 2?
I don't know. I
don't know what else is out there.
But if you need a quarterback like the Jets do, and you're loaded with 1st-round picks, so you could take a hope on one, or maybe you take them lower. But
well, we're going to find out how the NFL feels about the top 2 guys, right? Mendoza and Moore.
It happens every year. What happens every year is you look at the mock drafts now, and then you look at them after the scouting combine and everything, and they're all different, because what happens is not that the draft information changes. It's just it becomes more public to the writers.
Yeah.
So the draftniks. So they start changing their toward what teams are actually thinking.
You know, I heard something the other day I was going to tell you. I haven't told you this. Zach Wilson had one of the greatest, it was called one of the greatest workout days. He was the 2nd pick, and the Jets took him. And by the way, if the Jets didn't take him, somebody else probably going to take him super high. But the Jets, they took him. That he had one of the greatest workouts they've seen. He's got a big arm. You know, if you ever get there early and watch him throw it, he can throw it. He can spin it. Which doesn't necessarily mean you can play. We've had a lot of guys with big arms that haven't. And they were talking about his workouts, talking to this guy, and he said it was a lot of NFL scouts left that day, and they go, wow, this is – I don't know if you remember, they were cheering at the end of it when he rolled out.
Yeah, I remember he had a big –
throws a 70-yard throw down
that
the
was
middle, and hits a guy in stride. And it was a freakish, like only a few of us can make this throw. But and so to your point, these workouts, all of a sudden you go watch a guy throw, and then you meet with them, and teams fall in love on that, right? They get him one-on-one. They talk to him. They see him up close throw.
Look at the Dolphins, although they didn't work out Tua. And I don't mean to pile on here, but we're talking about off seasons.
He did the hip.
He had the hip
stuff. He spent all that time with Trent Dilfer.
But the point is, teams fall in love, right? Teams fall in love with their guy, and sometimes I just think it must be so difficult to pick a quarterback.
It's been a long time, but what was the knock on Justin Herbert? Somebody asked me, and
leadership.
I said,
he was quiet.
Leadership,
he's a quiet guy. He's still a quiet guy, but he's 6'6".
There's nothing quite about his game.
And
he's run.
He plays hurt. He gets crushed. He can run. He can.
You know, he's like the 3rd or 4th leading quarterback runner in the league this year for yards. Which, by the way, in today's game, outside of if you're one of the great pocket quarterbacks, which the guy might be an MVP as a guy playing for the Rams right now, But the one thing all these guys from Bo Nix to Drake May, they can all run. Oh, play breaks down, no problem. 3rd and 8, I'll get 10. They run. And there's a lot of those guys around now, a lot more. Anyway, hey, Dave, we're going to go to break here so we can get caught up with Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. He'll join us next. Stay with us.
The Joe Rose Show is presented by
On here early this week, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. And boy, Mike, we got so much going on here. And I start with this. So we find out Justin Herbert's not going to play. And so it's looking like with Trey Lance going to now start for the Chargers that, and the Chargers are going to rest a lot of guys. So Denver's going to win. But a lot of these other teams are still saying, sounds like New England said, now we need the work. We're going to keep. Are you surprised that a lot of teams are going to play and a lot of teams are going to give guys the week off?
Well, every year it's a question that some teams have to resolve, and I think it's unique to the circumstances of every team. It's one of the obligations of being the head coach of the team. You've got your finger on the pulse of the organization. What does it need right now? Do we need an extra bye week? Do we need the extra work? Are we willing to take on the incremental risk that comes from putting guys out there? And I think back to 2019 when the Ravens were the 1 seed, everything was clicking. There was a calf injury to Mark Ingram. He was their running back at the time, and I think that got John Harbaugh a little bit nervous about exposing his guys to risk. So they didn't play the starters the final week of the season. Back then, there were only 16 games, so it was week 17. So they had that week off. They had the bye week. They went 3 weeks between games, and what happened? The Titans went in, caught them flat-footed with an uppercut, and they were done. It's a long time to go between not just playing in a game, but preparing to play in a game. That's the middle ground in all of this. You can say the starters are playing. You can prepare all week for the starters to play, and then they just don't play. Now, that doesn't do any favors to the backups who didn't prepare to play the same way they would as if they were preparing to start. But it's all about your routine. It's all about your needs. It's all about balancing the various risks. You don't want to live in your fears, but you also don't want to disregard your fears because that's when they come to fruition. So I think it's a complicated issue across the board, and it's something that every coach needs to decide. And, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. The thing about the playoffs, everything gets thrown out the window about the regular season once we get to the postseason. All that matters is that number that you occupy on the playoff tree, and then let's go one round at a time.
All right, Mike, Black Monday's coming, which leads to a strange survival Sunday. And you have it up on profootball.com, a story about John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin and Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Do you think either of them whoever loses this game, do you think they could be gone?
Well, I think they could, and there's two ways to look at it. Will it be something they initiate? Will it be something the team initiates? Now, I think Mike Tomlin isn't going anywhere. I don't know that Marcus Freeman would have been a candidate to coach the Steelers. I think he's the most obvious guy that they would consider. They may find somebody else. But if the Steelers are going to initiate the process, the last time around with Bill Cowher, he walked away. They didn't have to have a plan B to Bill Cowher ready to go. If you're going to be the one to move on from Mike Tomlin, you better have a pretty good idea who you're going to hire to replace him. And you better be confident you're going to have an upgrade. You could downgrade. If the Steelers would fire Mike Tomlin, and I know there's plenty of Steelers fans that have been waiting for this moment, can't wait to get rid of him, you better be careful what you wish for. Because who's going to come in and be as good or better than Mike Tomlin? And I think the same thing would apply in Baltimore. But sometimes after all those years, Ben Roethlisberger said it 4 weeks ago after the Steelers got embarrassed at home to the Bills, it just feels like it's time for a change. And it did. Until they turned it around and won 3 in a row, it did. Now they're sluggish against the Browns. They've gone 5 straight games since 2020. And one of the common links back to 2020 is Mike Tomlin. This is an NFL record, 5 straight games without beating a team 8 or more games under 500. Every time they've come up, and it started with the Bengals. The Steelers were like 11-2 or something like that at the time. The Bengals were 2-10-1. The Bengals beat the Steelers. 5 straight games. They've played teams 8 or more games under 500, and they haven't beaten any one of them. That's just kind of a weird lack of focus against lesser teams. And you could make a case. Maybe the Steelers do need to change. Maybe it has gotten stale. But again, who are you going to replace Mike Tomlin with? And are you taking a chance you're going to get worse? Same thing in Baltimore. But whoever loses this game is missing the playoffs. And playoffs or no playoffs, that's the ultimate litmus test for whether or not a coach is doing his job. And if the Steelers miss it, if the Ravens miss it, and we know one of them will, it is going to be a talking point. It's going to be something to watch. And it adds to the drama. Why did the NFL pick that game? I mean, they never tell me. But my estimation would be It's not just who makes the playoffs. What's the future of Mike Tomlin? What's the future of Aaron Rodgers? What's the future of John Harbaugh? What's the future of Lamar Jackson?
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Lamar Jackson thing, because a lot of people know he's from here in South Florida and that he could be coming back here. Why the hell would they let one of the best quarterbacks — I know this hadn't been his best season, it hadn't been healthy. I mean, you keep Lamar Jackson no matter what. Those franchise quarterbacks are hard to find. You don't see him going anywhere else, do you?
This is a fascinating story, Joe, and I explained this on our pregame show before the Ravens-Packers game Saturday night on Peacock. They have had chronic communications issues with Lamar Jackson dating back to really before the draft. I remember before the draft hearing that teams were having trouble getting in touch with him. He doesn't have an agent. He's never had an agent. His mother's kind of his agent, but his mother can't talk to the team under the requirements of the NFL Players Association because he's not licensed to represent players. The Ravens have to negotiate directly with him. The Ravens had a hell of a time getting his current contract done. The collusion grievance that went to a ruling in January of 2025 and was hidden by everyone for 5 months. Once that came out, it was clear the trouble that the Ravens had communicating with Lamar Jackson, including Jackson saying the microphone on his phone was broken during one of the conversations with GM Eric DaCosta. So they just haven't been able to have the relationship that you would have if there's an agent who, sometimes hard things need to be said. You say them to the agent who has an interest in keeping this thing together because the agent gets a percentage of what the player makes. The agent then takes that message and figures out the best way to communicate to the player. When you have to say tough things directly to the player, that gets awkward. And I just feel like there's been a barrier there between the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I think he currently wants another contract. How do they go about getting that done? He's under contract for 2 more years. His salary cap number in 2027 is $74.5 million. You know what it would cost to franchise tag him in 2028? $89 million.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
I think that I think just upon all, you see the smoke, you read the tea leaves. I think they'd like to get an offer that they can't refuse for Lamar Jackson. They're not going to shop him. They're not going to put it out there. They're just going to sit back and let nature take its course. I think they'd like to get an offer that they would say, how do you say no to that? I don't think they're going to get it because you got to be willing to give the Ravens a lot. And you got to find a way to communicate with Lamar Jackson, something the Ravens haven't been able to do since they drafted him in 2018.
This leads to a subject that I'm curious of. The NBA guys obviously have forced their way out of town. And I'm not sure Lamar Jackson's the guy to do that, but Joe Burrow might be the guy. Could he, if Joe Burrow says, I'm not coming back here, do you think he could force his way out of Cincinnati?
Look, I'm told he's currently not planning to do that. Now, maybe enough smoke has emerged over the course of the past several weeks and really prior to the last 2 weeks when they've won. But based on some of the stuff he said on his birthday, his 29th birthday, he was kind of despondent. And between that and the stuff he said the following week, he said, he's thought about a future playing for a different team. He could eventually try to make a power play. The thing is, the Bengals are the worst team to do it with. The Bengals are the most stubborn, intransigent team in the NFL. Carson Palmer, after 8 years with the Bengals, said, I'm out. I'm done. You know what they said? Sit your ass down on your couch. We ain't doing anything. We ain't trading you. They wouldn't have traded him. Jason Campbell, the former first-round pick in Washington who was playing for the Raiders at the time, this was 2011. 2 days before the trade deadline, at the time it was week 6, Tuesday after week 6. On week 6, Sunday, broke his collarbone. Hugh Jackson, who was the Raiders coach at the time, made Mike Brown, the Bengals owner, an offer he couldn't refuse. And they finally traded Carson Palmer. Because I think the Bengals always want to remind the players who runs the show. And they're willing to hurt themselves from a football standpoint to send that message, because that message is evergreen. And the moment you start letting the players think they run the show is the moment you've lost the bigger picture, at least as far as the Bengals are concerned. So it sets up a potential showdown with Burrow the way they had the showdown with Carson Palmer, where Burrow says, I want out, and the Bengals say, we don't care what you want, and if you don't want to play for us, then you play for no one.
Mike, before I let you go, we got 4 great stories. The Patriots 4-13 last year to 13-3 now. Jacksonville 4-13 last year, 12-4. The Bears 5-12, dead last year, now 11-5, win that division. I don't know if there's a better story than that. 49ers 6-11 and now playing. If they beat Seattle at home, they're going to have a chance to go 13-4 and be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Is there anything better than that one, or do you like one of the other three?
Oh, I think it's amazing, and it dawned on me the day before the Rams-Seahawks game a couple of weeks ago. I looked at the standings. I looked at the various conference division records, all the different tiebreakers, and it's like, hey, whoa. If the Seahawks win this game Thursday night over the Rams, all the 49ers have to do is beat the Colts, the Bears, and the Seahawks, and they're the ones.
Right.
They get the week off, 2 home games, and then they play the Super Bowl at home. That's incredible. And you see Kyle Shanahan is creeping up higher and higher in the Coach of the Year betting odds for whatever that's worth. The one thing that really amazes me, and, last year when Saquon Barkley was having his big year with the Eagles, and the Eagles were the 1 seed in the NFC, there was at least an argument being made for him being MVP. How is Christian McCaffrey's current odds for MVP are plus 50,000? How is he not being talked about? The guy's potentially going to have the second 1,000-yard rushing, 1,000-yard receiving performance of his career. Only 3 guys in the history of the NFL have done it once, him, Marshall Faulk, and Roger Craig. He could do it twice. Watch a 49ers game. That guy gets banged around every single play. He's always laying flat on his back, and I'm thinking, is he going to get up from this one? And he just keeps going. And, look, they don't tell you. I got one of the AP votes. They don't tell you what MVP means. But would the 49ers be in a position to finish this job with all the stuff they've been through this year, all the injuries, all the ups and downs without Christian McCaffrey? There's no way they're on the brink of being the 1 seed without Christian McCaffrey. And if that's not MVP, I don't know what is. So I haven't made a final decision yet, and I want to see what happens on Saturday night. But if 49ers are the 1 seed, that ballot goes 5 players deep. I guarantee you Christian McCaffrey is going to be on my ballot somewhere.
Yeah, for good reason. Mike, thank you, buddy. Have a great week. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this last week. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
All right, right back at you. Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk joining us. Hey, we're not done. We got Kyle Craps going to join us from Finn's podcast and talk to him a little bit about the Miami Dolphins, breaking down everything from Tua to the offensive line. You won't want to miss it. It's coming up next.
The Joe Rose Show is presented by Loctite Windows, Doors, and Roofing. Loctite Impact, South Florida's top rated